Chapter 548. Wu Yuandong was about to continue, and everyone's curiosity was piqued. However, Su Yun suddenly spoke up and interrupted Wu Yuandong's recollection. Brother Dong, I believe that you don't have any bad intentions when you become a driver at Sky Entertainment. Today, I also don't have any bad intentions when I revealed your identity. Many people have a past that they don't want to remember, and so do I. If there's a chance, we'll get to know each other better, but not now. If one day you need my help, I don't think anyone here will stand by and do nothing. Of course. Zhang Wanning was the first to express his thoughts. Although he was a boorish man, boorish men were always the most straightforward. As long as they had their eyes on someone, they would support them without hesitation. Seeing that even his brother had spoken, Zhang Yongliang naturally didn't want to be outdone. He expressed that he would follow his brother at any time and do anything for Su Yun just like his brother. Since Wu Yuandong's business was Su Yun's business, then Su Yun's business was their business as well. Zhuo Meiyan shook her head helplessly. She smiled faintly and said, I never thought that I, Zhuo Meiyan, would actually let the Three Lotus Association's Qingshui Hall's hallmaster be my driver for so long. If this gets out, then I, white-lipped bamboo green, will be thrown into the sky by some people with ulterior motives. Zhua Yeming, listen to me. Watch your mouth. If word gets out that Hall Master Wu is our Sky Entertainment's driver, you'll be the first one I'll hold accountable. Do you understand? Sis, do you think I'm stupid? Of course I won't say anything about this. Of course I won't do something like offending the Three Lotus Association. Zhua Yeming said, Why do you think I'll say anything? If word gets out, who knows if it's actually them who said it? Zhuo Meiyan turned her head and glanced at Wang Zhe. Wang Zhe quickly raised his hand. Of course I won't say anything. I'm not stupid. It's already not easy for Brother Dong to hide his identity like this. If I say anything, then I'll be digging my own grave. Director Zhua, don't worry about me. They won't say anything, so I don't need to worry. You're the only one who worries me. In the end, Zhuo Meiyan still glared at Zhuo Yeming. She knew very well that a young and promising person like Lin Guo must be well versed in the ways of the world, while Yuan Bo was a native to his bones. He had no one to talk to, and perhaps he didn't even understand what they meant by the Three Lotus Society, so he wouldn't talk nonsense. Since Wang Zhe and the Zhang brothers had already expressed their intentions, she naturally didn't have to worry about Su Yun. The only thing she was worried about was Zhuo Yeming's mouth. This guy really liked to show off. Zhuo Yeming shrugged his shoulders unwillingly. He sat aside and didn't say anything. Anyway, he wouldn't talk nonsense. He wanted to see what his sister could scold him for. Su Yun smiled and said, Well, we all know each other now. This trip to the northeast is for Yuanbo. We have the same goal and have to face the same difficulties. We are brothers who will live and die together. We must trust each other, support each other, and block bullets for each other. Only in this way can we take back the homeland of Yuan Bo and the rest of the Packer people from the Viper expedition. Brother, what you said is amazing. Lin Guo said with admiration, Hey, I'm afraid I'm the youngest here. You are all my brothers and sisters. If you need anything, just tell me. I've been my brother's follower since I was young. It was my brother who kicked me every day. So don't be so polite to me. I won't be used to it. Although Lin Guo was young, his strength was ranked in the top 3 here. So Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang were very polite to him. Lin Guo wouldn't be used to it. It was better to make things clear first, so that he wouldn't be served like a young master in the future. Although I'm the only woman here, I definitely don't need to be taken care of. Although I'm the high and mighty Chief Zhua in the company, I'm now a member of Su Yun's group. Zhuo Meiyan said, Except for my brother, I'm equal to everyone here. Only in this way can we cooperate well in battle. Brother Lin is right. Don't be too polite to each other. Otherwise, you won't be used to it. With a bitter face, Zhuo Yeming said, Why am I the only exception? Can't I be equal to everyone else? In other people's eyes, you are equal, but in my eyes, you are not. No matter where you go, you are my brother. Zhua Meiyan said seriously, "You and I are not equal. You are the only son of our Zhua family. One day you will understand what I mean." Kinship was truly different. Everyone present could feel Zhua Meiyan's imposing manner in front of her little brother. However, under that imposing manner, there was a lot of tender affection. After all, he was her little brother. Zhua Meiyan had already secretly sworn that she would not let him come to any danger. Zhua Meiyan was a woman after all. Her inner world was different from a man's. Although the 9 of them were in the same group, when the choice between life and death came, the only people she cared about in her heart were her beloved, Su Yun, and her family, Zhua Yeming. "I only want to say one thing," Su Yun said word by word. "This trip is extremely dangerous. Our 9 lives are tied together. We live and die together." Everyone said in unison, "Live and die together." There was no such thing as free trust in the world. Su Yun chose these people to go with him, indicating that he had full confidence that these people would not betray him, nor would they give up halfway. The only ones who seemed to be estranged from Su Yun were the Zhang brothers, and these 2 were indeed the most loyal. The tragedy of their families near extermination was caused by Scarlet Scorpion, and Su Yun was their benefactor who allowed them to kill Scarlet Scorpion. Just based on this point, these 2 men who knew how to repay kindness would never do anything to disobey Su Yun. After dinner, everyone did not return to Yuan Bo's rented room. Instead, they went to a hotel and booked 9 rooms. The car that Zhua Meiyan and the other 4 drove, as well as the car driven by the Zhang brothers, were all stored in the hotel's underground garage. Tomorrow, when everything was ready, they would immediately set off. The 9 people took their room cards and returned to their rooms. Coincidentally, except for Su Yun and Zhua Meiyan's room, which was at the left of the elevator hall, the other 7 people's room was at the right of the elevator hall. Ahem, brother-in-law, if you want to visit at night, you have to pay attention to moderation. You will set off tomorrow, don't be too tired at night. Zhua Yeming joked impudently. His words made Lin Gu and the others, who did not know the subtle relationship between the 2 of them, nod in realization. Yuan Bo did not understand the meaning of this joke. He really thought that Zhua Meiyan was Su Yun's woman. He said gratefully, "Sister-in-law has traveled 1,000 miles to come here. When I take back my homeland, I will definitely hold an unprecedented welcome party for sister-in-law and brother Yun. I will also ask the best sculptor in our clan to carve statues of brother Yun and sister-in-law, so that our descendants will worship them forever." Zhua Meiyan laughed beautifully. He, how can I do that? You are too polite. Okay, hurry up and go back to sleep. Su Yun glared at Lin Gu and Zhua Meiyan. You 2, pay attention. Now the hotel calls at night to ask if they want service. You 2 are young and impetuous. You'd better control yourself. If I find out who called a masseuse for service, I will kick him down the snow valley when I reach the northeast. Hearing this, Zhua Meiyan also glared at Zhua Meiyan very seriously. Did you hear that, brat? Anyway, you don't have any money. If you pay more for the masseuse when you check out tomorrow, you will die. Zhua Meiyan felt wronged. Sister, why are you so sure that I will find one? Lin Gu and I are not that bored. We don't have that kind of hobby. What if Brother Zhe and Brother Dong found one? Count it on us? What if Brother Wanning and Brother Yongliang also found one? Count it as 2 for each of us? Lin Gu also nodded desperately. He had to clarify this matter. This was related to his innocence. And Brother Yuan Bo is in such good health. What if he called 4 masseuses? Zhua Meiyan's joke made everyone laugh. Yuan Bo didn't understand what he meant, so he also laughed. If you talk nonsense again, I will sew it up for you. Zhua Meiyan glared and said, You guys have a share. If anyone dares to call a masseuse for service, all of you will run to the northeast. Do you understand? Everyone nodded. When they turned around, they all smiled at each other and said, Only the officials can set fires, but the common people can light lamps. Before Zhua Meiyan could react and fly into a rage, they burst into laughter and quickly ran to their rooms, leaving only the confused Yuan Bo. He asked Zhua Meiyan and Su Yun in a daze, What does it mean that only the state officials are allowed to set fires, but the common people are not allowed to light lamps? Zhou Meiyan was really speechless. She rolled her eyes and turned around to leave. Su Yun didn't know how to explain. He could only say, "It means that if someone calls you at night and asks if you want service, you just have to answer with one word: get out. Do you understand?" Yuan Bo nodded seriously. Understood. It was easier to communicate with simple people. Su Yun sighed from the bottom of his heart, then turned around and went back to his room. They were leaving tomorrow. What they needed to do today was to take a comfortable bath and then recharge. Tomorrow, they would be on the road directly after the division of labor. Just as Su Yun was thinking about it, Zhou Meiyan knocked on his door. When he opened the door, he saw that Zhou Meiyan had already changed into her pajamas. His heart skipped a beat, and his Adam's apple bobbed. "You're not really going to do something like, only the magistrate is allowed to set fire, but not the common people with me, right?" Zhou Meiyan glared at Su Yun fiercely. "I haven't seen you for so many days. Can't I come and chat with you? Besides, we are leaving tomorrow. It's so early now. Can you sleep? Also, I have to monitor whether you will call for special service." Of course, Su Yun knew that everything she said was a reason. Since you are here, I don't need to call masseuses. I don't like their strength. Come on, I will let you serve me today. My shoulders and lumbar spine hurt a lot." Chapter 549. How long has it been since we last met? Why do you look so haggard? Zhou Meiyan massaged Su Yun's shoulders and said softly, "It seems that you really lack someone who can take care of you. If you're always like this, I won't feel at ease leaving you in their hands. They didn't fatten you up at all." Su Yun knew who Zhou Meiyan was referring to. Zhou Meiyan was a smart person. She never thought that Su Yun could stay by her side alone, so she wouldn't be jealous of them. She would gladly accept it. However, she definitely wanted to let Su Yun know that she would treat him better. Zhou Meiyan only had this little thought. But Su Yun had to admit that Zhou Meiyan's observation was indeed very meticulous. He was indeed a little haggard these days because of the Dragon Brigade. Fortunately, the group of Japanese goods also encountered trouble in China. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the time to deal with Yuanbo. After all, national affairs were important. The recovery of Turtle Island was far more important than the fight for Yuanbo's homeland. This concerned the integrity of a country's territory, its sovereignty, and its reputation. Thinking of this, Su Yun couldn't help but sigh. Fortunately, there were many other heroes in this world who were willing to fight against the enemy for the country and its people. Su Yun was becoming more and more envious of them. They had their own organization and discipline. They could take action when they wanted to and wouldn't leave any trouble for the country. "Hey, what are you thinking about?" Zhou Meiyan said. "I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me? Don't tell me you're thinking about other women when I'm massaging you. Aren't you afraid that I'll castrate you if I get angry?" Su Yun's entire body shivered, and he couldn't help but clamp his legs together. Zhou Meiyan wasn't the kind of person who only talked and didn't take action. Perhaps she wouldn't really castrate Su Yun, but if she was really angry, she could just give him a blow that was enough to make him suffer. "How could that be? Why would I think of another woman? I just feel that I'm really sorry for calling you here. Su Yun, I feel really bad for asking you to do such a dangerous thing. Meiyan, I know that no matter what I do, you will always support me the most in this world." "Thank you, really." Zhou Meiyan couldn't help but be moved. "My life was given to me by you. What reason do I have to not support you? Let's not talk about the past anymore. Su Yun, I still have to thank you for taking care of my grandfather during his last days. Fortunately, you were there at that time, so the old man had someone to send him off before he left. Zhang Taisui has helped me and my younger brother, and is also my master. I should have taken care of him in his old age, but I really didn't think that he would leave so soon." Zhou Meiyan took a deep breath. She didn't think that Su Yun would suddenly mention the old man. This caused her to lose control of her emotions. Su Yun smiled. He stood up and patted Zhuo Meiyen's shoulder. It's nothing. Everyone will get sick and die. At least the old man's illness wasn't painful. It passed as soon as he closed his eyes. I believe that with his strength, even in the netherworld, he could look down on the entire king of Hell's palace, ha ha ha. Besides, he accepted you as his disciple because the two of you were fated to be together. It definitely wasn't because of me. You know the old man's temper, so I don't need to tell you. He decided to pass on his skills to you because he saw your character and physique. The old man's internal energy is very special. Very few people can accept it. Even you and Yi Ming's ability to accept it is different. It could be said that Zhuo Meiyen's improvement was like a meteoric rise. From a girl who was at a loss when it came to cultivating martial arts, she had become a first-rate expert whose name shook the entire underground world overnight. She was even given the title of White-Lipped Bamboo Green. All right, you have to wake up early tomorrow morning. Go to bed early. Zhuo Meiyen stood up and said, I'll go back first. Watching her turn to leave and close the door, Su Yun shook his head helplessly. Everyone had their own past that they didn't want to talk about. Actually, Su Yun wanted to comfort Zhuo Meiyen, but he didn't know where to start. After all, what had happened to Yuan Bo was similar to what had happened to Zhuo Meiyen and her brother. The only difference was that Yuan Bo's clansmen had only been controlled to do manual labor, while Zhuo Meiyen's clansmen had all been killed by the murderer. Only her and her brother were left. If Su Yun hadn't arrived in time, even the two of them probably wouldn't have survived. Zhuo Meiyen's resistance to the invaders was not something that others could feel. Her hatred for the invaders could no longer be described as hatred. She couldn't bear to see anyone invade other people's homes for any reason. This was also the reason why Su Yun had asked her to come this time. Ever since that incident, Zhuo Meiyen needed a chance to vent the hatred in her heart. This way, it wouldn't become her inner demon when she broke through to become a super expert. Su Yun had a deep understanding of this. Once hatred became an inner demon, it wouldn't be easy to get rid of it. If Su Yun hadn't had his inner demon last time, he probably wouldn't be at this level right now. However, opportunities could only be found by chance. It wasn't certain that everyone would have it. Therefore, Su Yun couldn't be sure that if Zhuo Meiyen encountered her inner demon, she could also find an opportunity to explode. However, he could let her vent the hatred in her heart in advance on Yuan Bo's matter. This way, he could suppress the inner demon in her heart. He could help both Yuan Bo and Zhuo Meiyen, killing two birds with one stone. It was a quiet night. Su Yun knew that no one else could feel the feelings in Zhuo Meiyen's heart. Among all of them, other than Yuan Bo, she hated those invaders the most. In this season, Yanjing's mornings were still chilly. After the few of them got up and washed up, they went to the buffet restaurant together and had a simple breakfast. Now was the time for Su Yun to assign tasks. Everyone looked at him seriously. Zhang Wanning, Zhang Yongliang. Su Yun didn't explain much and immediately began to assign tasks. I checked last night. There's a flight in an hour. The two of you should take that flight and go to the destination. You all grew up in the Northeast. You know the harsh conditions of the world of ice and snow. If we need any supplies, you can prepare them locally. I believe that the supplies there will be more professional than what we brought in Yanjing. Yes. We will complete the task, Zhang Wanning said on behalf of the two brothers. Then we'll set off now. The two of them didn't hesitate and immediately got up to leave. Since they had decided to split up, it meant that Su Yun had already arranged a full schedule for everyone. Although flying there was fast, they still had to prepare food, drinks, and supplies. It wasn't something that could be done in a short time. Zhuo Meiyen, Zhuo Yeming. Su Yun continued, you two's mission is to prepare equipment to resist the cold, such as windbreaker, climbing cotton boots, cold-resistant tents, and cotton sleeping bags. It's best that everyone prepare 2 sets of these things, just in case. We'll try our best to be prepared. In 3 hours, we'll meet at the first intersection on the left in front of the hotel. Zhuo Meiyen nodded. Zhuo Yeming patted his chest and said, no problem. You can rest assured. Let's go. Zhua Meiyan got up and said to Zhua Yeming. Then, she strode forward. Zhua Yeming hurriedly followed behind. Wu Yuandong, Wang Zhe. Su Yun continued to instruct, you two come with me to the car rental shop. We're going there this time, and a car is an essential tool. We need a car that can perform well in the cold and snow. You two come with me to choose a car. There are 9 of us, and because we have to bring a lot of luggage and supplies, we need at least 3 cars. Wu Yuandong was very knowledgeable about cars. He nodded in agreement with Su Yun's division. Yes, we need at least 3 cars. The weight of each car, plus the barrels of gasoline, I'm afraid it will reach the weight of 2 or 3 people. Then we'll go too? Wang Zhe got up and asked Su Yun. Su Yun finally said to Lin Gu and Yuanbua, Lin Gu, Yuanbua, you two are responsible for checking out the hotel room. Then go back to Yuanbua's rental house and clean it up. Don't leave anything of Yuanbua's. Give some money to the real estate agent as compensation for the facilities in the house. Also, meet us in 3 hours. Time is tight. We must not delay. Let's go. Lin Gu quickly got up to check out, and Yuanbua quickly followed behind him. Su Yun finished arranging everything and quickly left the hotel with Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe. They took a taxi to the largest car rental shop in Yanjing. Renting a car could be said to be a very popular thing now, especially for people who wanted to drive themselves into Tibet. The performance of their own car might not be able to meet that kind of bad situation, and it would be a waste to buy a car with performance and not use it after going there once. That was why renting a car had become a trend. There were also many people who went to a place to play, and it was common for them to rent a car to use. What's more, the car rental industry now covered the whole country, and there were chains all over the country. If you rented a car in Yanjing and drove to Shenzhen to return it, they would also refund your deposit. It was very convenient. Su Yun had chosen to take a taxi because of the convenience of the trip. After all, it was a world of ice and snow. Although Zhua Meiyan didn't lack luxury cars, and even 3 Ferraris could be transferred immediately, could Ferraris run in the snow? I'm afraid it really can't. In addition to traffic lights, the world of ice and snow was also a killer of supercars. That kind of world of ice and snow was a place where off-road cars were more suitable. Su Yun didn't need to say this. Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe were very clear about this. Therefore, after the 3 of them arrived at the largest car rental shop in Yanjing, they walked in the direction of the off-road car in unison. When the service staff saw the 3 young men, he immediately greeted them and asked, "May I ask what kind of car you want to rent and what price?" Su Yun's answer was quite simple: cheap, easy to use, suitable for the road in ice and snow. When the service staff heard the word cheap, his expression immediately became less enthusiastic. Cheap. Then let's have a domestic off-road car. Heima's Knight, Harvard's H6, Cherry's Ruehu, all of them are fine, cheap. Chapter 550. As soon as he saw the money, the service staff's face immediately bloomed into a smile. He enthusiastically led the 3 into the high-end off-road vehicle area and said to Wang Zhe with a bright smile, "Boss, where do you want to go? I'll give you a detailed recommendation." Was it Hainan Island where there was ice and snow? Wang Zhe rolled his eyes at the service staff. "Hurry up, we don't have time to waste with you." This was the world's recognized snow dragon, unparalleled in the world. The service staff nodded vigorously. Pointing to an Acura MDX next to him, he said, 376 6-cylinder VTEC engine, 309 horsepower peak power makes people's heart surge. Its unrivaled control performance has ignited the infinite passion of many people who pursue driving enjoyment. Its core intelligent 4-wheel drive technology, which is the Super 4-wheel drive free control system, can be said to be the most advanced and powerful 4-wheel drive system in the industry. The salesman's mouth was indeed the salesman's mouth. Once he spoke, it was 4 words, endless. But this was really the time to broaden one's knowledge. Ordinary people really didn't understand these things. The service staff continued, "This 4-wheel drive system can intelligently distribute the best power between the 4 wheels according to different road conditions. What's more, it achieves a breakthrough and stepless variable power distribution between the left and right rear wheels. On the ice and snow road, the system can actively judge or predict the physical inertia changes of the body according to the actual road conditions, and distribute the driving power to a wheel with the most optimal ratio, correcting or preventing unstable body movement trajectory, effectively preventing the car from skidding on the ice and snow road, and ensuring driving safety. Brother, this Acura 4S shop didn't invite you to be the sales supervisor. That's really a waste of talent. Wu Yuandong said admiringly. Wang Zhe also couldn't help but give a thumbs up. If you go to Automobile Home to apply for the editor-in-chief position, you can probably get it. Admirable, admirable. Are you going to tell us about the stability assistance system, traction control, electronic braking power distribution, and anti-lock braking system? Save it, we're just renting a car, you don't need to be so detailed. Su Yun smiled slightly. The car is a good car, but unfortunately it's made in Japan. Although I'm not a radical and patriotic youth who smashes Japanese cars, if I have other choices, I'll try not to choose a Japanese one. If I go to a radical city and the gas station doesn't give me gas, won't it be troublesome? This brother really has a high vantage point, great foresight, and great insight. The service staff immediately pointed to a Mercedes-Benz ML350 and said, "Then choose Mercedes-Benz. The car inventor invents the car again." What a domineering slogan. Wasn't this the slogan of the new S-Class product launch? What does this have to do with ML350? Su Yun was speechless. It was as if the service staff had memorized the words from his mouth, and they gushed out in an endless stream. This full-time four-wheel drive is a 4-matic system, which distributes power to the front and rear wheels through a mechanical central differential. Its off-road performance is incomparable. When the vehicle shows signs of losing control due to excessive movements on the snowy ground, the 4-matic system will immediately intervene and apply braking force to the wheel that has lost power in advance. At the same time, the power will be transferred to the other 3 wheels to bring the vehicle back to you from the brink of losing control. This time, he didn't wait for Su Yun and the other 2 to speak. He controlled his desire to continue speaking. He left the 3 customers to decide what kind of car they wanted. Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe naturally listened to Su Yun. Whatever Su Yun said was what it was. But Su Yun shook his head unnaturally. When the service staff saw Su Yun shake his head, his occupational disease immediately kicked in. His mouth stopped for less than a minute, and he immediately pointed to a Land Rover Range Rover behind him and said, "If you're not satisfied with these, then the off-road Rolls-Royce." The Range Rover uses a full-time 4-wheel drive system with a powerful all-terrain feedback system. There are snow mode, desert mode, swamp mode, and many other modes to choose from, allowing you to easily deal with all kinds of road conditions. In snowy weather, when driving the Range Rover, turn on the snow mode, and the all-terrain feedback adaptive system can be adjusted according to the transmission and electronic differential lock. It can effectively prevent and reduce the vehicle's skidding, side skidding, and tail drifting, allowing the driver to be like a dancer walking on flat ground, elegant and agile. The service staff's words were better than singing. It must be known that these luxury cars were very expensive to rent for a day. These customers were going to a snowy place, so they definitely weren't tourists who were going for an outing. The commission from such a single order was enough for him to spend for a month. Of course, he would work hard. There was no need. Su Yun interrupted the service staff's words. "These don't matter to me. I'll do as you said just now. 1 Seahorse Cavalier, Haver H6, and Cherry Tiger. By the way, I can pay more. Help me change the tires to snow tires." F*CK, was all that talk a waste of breath? The service staff was instantly dejected. The only thing that satisfied him was that at least the other party rented 3 cars at once. This was a big bargain. Are we really going to use these cars? Wang Zhe was stunned. Brother Yun, are you not going to choose again? Money is really not a problem. I can also afford the deposit. It was not a matter of money. Su Yun, I trust the domestic products. Seahorse has TCS traction control system and ESP electronic stability program. Haver has BAS intelligent brake assist system. Cherry Tiger has seat heating, and a peak torque of 205 Newton meters is enough. Let's just take it as a challenge. This made sense. Wang Zhe was impressed. Why didn't the Huaxia people trust the domestic products? They would rather spend more money to import and invest in joint ventures. Face was a problem. Performance was also a problem. Most people who had not driven a domestic car before were not willing to experience the quality of a domestic car. They were afraid that there would be many problems. Brother Dong, go and pick 3 cars with good performance. Su Yun smiled slightly. He chose 3 different brands because he was afraid that if one of them broke down, there would still be a spare. If they all chose the same brand, they would all be left behind if there was a problem. Wu Yuandong carefully selected 3 cars and watched them change the snow tires that were in better condition. Wu Yuandong even let them change the spare tires. After testing the condition of the cars, Wu Yuandong finally confirmed that there were no problems with the 3 cars. After paying the deposit, Su Yun asked for 6 spare oil drums. He placed 2 in the back of each car. They were to be filled before entering the mountains at their destination. After everything was ready, the 3-hour time limit was almost up. The 3 of them each drove a car and went to the agreed location in a line. When Su Yun and the other 2 arrived, Zhua Meiyan and Lin Gu also stopped waiting. Zhua Meiyan and the other 2 bought a lot of necessities. They really needed to rent 3 cars. 2 cars would not be enough. Come on, load the cars. After Su Yun got out of the car, he immediately ordered, put the things in the trunks of the 3 cars. If there's a lot of space, you can put a few more things. When you're ready, we'll set off. Zhua Meiyan stared at Su Yun with her eyes wide open. Are you serious? These are the cars you rented? Why didn't you rent a few better cars to go to a place with such bad weather? What if they break down on the road? It seemed that everyone was worried about domestic cars. You can't blame them. If you want to blame someone, blame the car company for being irresponsible. If all the cars could be built with care, the quality of domestic cars would definitely be better than the imported ones. After all, 8 out of 10 of the smart people who do research and development all over the world have Huaxia's blood flowing in their veins. I believe in the sincerity of domestic cars. Don't worship foreign cars. Let's go. Su Yun laughed and said, if we really run into the vile conditions where the car will be left behind, even if it's a car worth 2 million, it will still be left behind. Although the 3 cars I rented are cheap, their performance is not bad. If they really can't get out of the snow, I won't feel bad about the deposit. Wu Yuandong also stood out to speak for Su Yun. I've tested the performance of these 3 cars. There's no problem. Mr. Zhua, you can trust Su Yun. The little Japanese can build ox-drawn cars that can jump up and down in the snow. Our Huaxia's cars won't lose to theirs. We usually drive luxury cars in the company because of the company's image. Now that we're going to a no-man's land, why do we care about that? It made sense. It definitely made sense. But Zhuo Yeming was still unwilling. He had just become addicted to driving a Ferrari a few days ago. Now he had to change to a few domestic off-road cars that cost more than 100,000 yuan. He could only laugh in his heart. Lin Gu and Yuan Bo didn't have any objections. They quickly helped to load the cars. Then Yuan Bo opened the door of the Chery at the back and sat in it. Wu Yuandong smiled and also opened the door to get in. He was the driver of this Ruihu. Zhua Yeming also got in Wu Yuandong's car. He wanted to hear about the 3 Lotus Association on the way. Lin Gu saw this and walked to the front of Su Yun's Hava. When he opened the door of the passenger seat, Zhua Meiyan got in first. After getting in, Zhua Meiyan smiled and said to Lin Gu, "Thank you for opening the door for me." "You're welcome." Lin Gu laughed dryly. Wang Zhe sat in the driver's seat of the Seahorse Knight and sighed helplessly. "Alas, why doesn't anyone sit in my car?" Lin Gu immediately ran to Wang Zhe's car. Before he turned and left, he looked at Zhua Meiyan and smiled. Zhua Meiyan praised him. "Brother Lin, you're so sensible. Sister will find you a girlfriend who is prettier than me. Don't worry. Go sit in Brother Zhe's car." Everyone got in the car. Su Yun was at the front, leading the way straight to the highway. Wang Zhe was in the middle, and Wu Yuandong was at the back. The three cars were majestic, heading straight for the ice and snow of the northeast. At this time, Zhang Wuning and Zhang Yongliang had already gotten off the plane at the airport in the northeast. They instantly felt the temperature of -10 degrees, which made them very happy. After all, they were born and raised in the northeast. They liked the feeling of shivering from the cold. "Brother, should we find a place to eat first and then prepare the things that Brother Yun asked us to do?" Zhang Yongliang really wanted to drink some Shaodao wine to warm his heart. However, Zhang Wuning seriously rejected it. "Let's do it first. When this is over, Brother Yun will let you drink well and drink as much as you can. I'll give you 2 pounds of Shaodao wine when we go back. Now, don't think about drinking. Let's go and find a place to buy some cured meat." Chapter 551. Under Su Yun's lead, the three cars sped all the way out of Yanjing and into the northeastern region. They only entered the highway rest area twice, and each time, it was only to refuel and relieve themselves. The rest of the time, they were all on the road. They did not eat lunch properly, and all they did was buy some food to eat on the road. Even so, after 10 hours, they had only covered half of the distance. Su Yun understood Yuan Bo's feelings very well. Since they were already on the road, Yuan Bo's heart must be filled with his homeland and his people. So, Su Yun just wanted Yuan Bo to return to his homeland as soon as possible. Even though he knew it wasn't urgent, he still hoped to make Yuan Bo feel more relaxed. "You always work hard for other people's things, but you rarely think about yourself." Zhua Meiyan sat in the passenger seat, watching Su Yun stare at the road that was already covered in snow. She said with heartache, "Even if you're in a hurry, you don't have to be in such a hurry. It's useless to be anxious on the road." Su Yun shrugged. "Look at the weather. The further north we go, the more likely it is to snow. If we don't hurry, the highway will be closed when the snow gets heavier. If we go on the national highway, the road is complicated, and there are many cars and people. It will slow down a lot. Meiyan, you understand Yuan Bo the best. If it were you, what would you do?" Zhua Meiyan was speechless. "I know I can't win against you. You're the best at grasping the weakness of people. You know very well that if I knew about this, I would be furious. That's why you asked me to come. If it weren't for this, I wouldn't have the time to play with you even if you asked me to come. Of course, now the Qingdao Film and Television Plaza is in the process of construction. This is Zhang Taisui's last wish. Of course, a filial disciple like you will supervise the construction personally." Su Yun said lightly, "Now you know why I asked Tang Jiu to lead the construction team of the Tang family. It's so that you can take time out when you have other urgent matters. At least now we can rest assured. After all, Tang Jiu is leading the construction team. I believe she will ensure the quality of the project for the sake of her acquaintance. Besides, didn't you hire a famous designer? You can rest assured." Zhua Meiyan ate a mouthful of bread and drank a mouthful of milk. Shaking her head, she said, "You are really plotting from 1,000 li away. Did you already prepare to have me come out to help you with this play? It's just that you've never had the time. Now that you've finished flirting with girls and have the time, you want me to learn how to be a good person and do good deeds with you? Humph, you really have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. Could this kind of thing wait?" Su Yun laughed aloud and said, "Besides, there's no end to picking up girls. When can you finish? There's no end to it." Jokes aside, after laughing, Su Yun also became serious. "Zhua Meiyan, I asked you to come this time not only to help Yuanbo, but also to help you. Do you understand?" Zhua Meiyan also put away her relaxed smile. Of course she understood. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said that Su Yun had a lot of tricks up his sleeve. "Don't worry, I won't waste your good intentions. I know you are worried that the knot in my heart will become the devil in my heart in the future. Don't worry, I will definitely vent all my resentment this time." Su Yun didn't say anything else. Zhua Meiyan wasn't an ignorant person. Since she said so, he had nothing to worry about. The northeast region was very big. Yuanbo's hometown was in a deserted area in Xing and Mountain, so even if they drove along the highway to Xing and Mountain, they still had to continue north along the national highway. The distance from Yanjing to Xing and Mountain was nearly 2,200 kilometers. Even if they didn't sleep or rest, it would still take nearly 20 hours. Driving tired would cause serious safety hazards, and after arriving at the destination, they still had to adapt to the climate, so Su Yun decided to take a break midway. The 3 cars entered the rest area one after another. When Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe got out of the car, they both stretched tiredly. They were already in the northeast region. How much more to go? Zhuo Yeming also twisted his stiff neck. Su Yun, there's still about half of the journey. Let's take a break and change the driver. Zhuo Yeming, you continue driving for Dong Ge. Lin Ge, you take Wang Zhe's place. What about you? Wu Yuandong said. According to his understanding of Yuanbo in the car, Yuanbo definitely didn't know how to drive, let alone have a driver's license. The life of the Paka people was quite ancient. To sum it up, they basically walked for transportation, relied on dogs for security, roared for communication, and shook for warmth. Zuomeyan flipped her hair and her almond-shaped eyes. Don't you still have me? We are out on a mission, so don't treat me like the boss of a company. Isn't it just a 1,800-kilometer road? Are you kidding? You're talking as if I don't have a driver's license. I'm fine. Su Yun, I'll be fine after eating something and resting for a while. I'm worried about you guys. Dong Ge, you and Wang Zhe are both southerners, especially you. Before you came to northern Ji, you lived on Taiwan Island. I'm worried that you guys won't be able to adapt to the northernmost climate, so you guys should try to rest well. Lin Gu, you too. You must adjust yourself well. Lin Gu smiled slightly. I'm fine with it. Although I was abandoned in the tropics when I was young, I was also thrown to a place like Siberia by my old man for a period of time. Don't worry, I'll drive for the rest of the journey. Su Yun, what do you mean? Are you looking down on me? Zuomeyan rolled her eyes at Su Yun. Su Yun smiled helplessly. Okay, then you drive. Next time, I'll take over. That's more like it. Zuomeyan glared. Okay, stop talking. What do you guys want to eat? Do you want some hot skewers or something to warm you up? We've been eating bread all the way, and there's no taste of heat in our mouths. I can't care so much. It's my treat. Follow me if you want to eat. Su Yun immediately said, Director Zhua is treating. Don't be shy. Let's go. Everyone was hungry, especially Yuanbo bread was tasteless to him. He really couldn't eat it. Seeing the hot skewers at the entrance of the supermarket in the rest area, he ate to his heart's content. It was similar to the way they ate in their hometown. It was cooked with hot soup. It didn't matter if there was meat in the meatballs, as long as it tasted like meat. Once he started eating, he couldn't stop. Zuomeyan directly took a big bowl. Each bowl was 40 yuan worth of skewers, and Yuanbo ate more than 20 by himself. Moreover, he liked chili. He ate until he was sweating and grinning from the spiciness. This guy's stomach was really big. He ate more than the 6 of them combined. After they finished eating, there were a total of 36 servings, nearly 1,500 yuan. The girl selling the skewers smiled beautifully and gave them an extra serving. They looked at each other and couldn't eat any more. Yuanbo didn't stand on ceremony. It only took him 3 minutes to bring it over. There wasn't even any soup left. This is the first time I've eaten something so delicious since I left home. Yuanbo said. Su Yun was speechless. He really didn't know what this guy had been eating since he left home and came to Yanjing for so long. With this appetite, he probably wouldn't be full even if he drank a box of instant noodles. Although they were impressed, after eating, they went to the bathroom again and bought water for the road and bread as a precaution. Then, they filled up the 3 cars with gas and set off on the highway heading north. Zuomeyan didn't hesitate to sit in the driver's seat. Su Yun didn't argue with her. He really should rest for a while. The journey took more than 4 hours. When the car's gas tank lit up, they went to the rest area to refuel again. After refueling twice along the way, they finally saw the highway exit of Xing Anling. Finally, they were closer to their destination. Su-yun took a deep breath. The closer they were to their destination, the closer they would be to danger. Yuan Bo also began to feel comfortable. As a person who grew up in ice and snow, compared to Yanjing's climate, he preferred the feeling of -10 degrees Celsius. After leaving the highway, Su-yun called the two brothers, Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang, and asked them where they were. The two immediately told Su-yun the address of the hotel they were staying at, and everyone prepared to meet them there. After a day's time, the two brothers had prepared everything they needed to prepare. It could be said that they had gained quite a lot. For this trip into the snowy forest, they had not only prepared enough water, but they had also prepared normal saline. They had also prepared common medicines, and even small things like bandages and essential balms were all available. The rest was food, which was all high-calorie food. There was a whole box of chocolates and meat, including all kinds of cured meats. Of course, the most basic dry food was also prepared. There were also compressed biscuits, which were the most space-saving thing. Although they tasted bad, they really had to bring them to that place. In case they didn't have enough food, they could fill their stomachs. Su-yun was quite satisfied with the things that the two of them had prepared. He also had Zhuo Yeming bring out the equipment that he and Zhuo Meiyan had bought for everyone to change into. This world of ice and snow was simply too cold. Wearing warm clothes wasn't just for warmth, but more importantly, to conserve energy and heat. After going through the equipment, everyone was finally fully armed. The rest was to load the materials into the car, then find a gas station to fill up all 3 cars. The 6 barrels that Su-yun had prepared were also filled and placed in the trunk. After all, once they entered the mountains, there would be no place to refuel. After all, the mountain road was a mountain road, and there were no accurate directions. In addition, it was winter now, and there was snow everywhere. Even with Yuan Bo as a guide, it was not very useful. It was easy to take a detour. Chapter 552. Under the command of Yuan Bo, Wu Yuandong took the lead, and Lin Gur and Wang Zhe followed closely behind. When the car made a turn on a small road on the national highway, it began to rush into the depths of the snowy mountain forest. As it became more and more remote, everyone's mobile phone began to lose signal. To be honest, this feeling was indeed uncomfortable. Zhuo Meiyan took out a special car satellite phone and called Feng Ying. Sister Feng Ying, please take care of the film and television plaza during this time. I may not be able to go back for a few days. After hearing Zhuo Meiyan's voice, Feng Ying looked at the number on the phone and asked in surprise, Meiyan, where are you now? Didn't you go to Yanjing to find Su-yun? What number is this? Are you talking to me with a satellite phone in the no man's land with no signal? Is there really no problem? Sister, you are really my idol. You can even guess this. We are already north of Xing'an Mountain in the northeast. This should be a no man's land. Except for the vast snow, we can't see anything. Zhuo Meiyan smiled slightly. But don't worry, I'm with Su-yun. I will never let him be in any danger. Feng Ying gasped and sighed deeply. My God, what are you doing? Why are you going there on such a cold day? I'm not worried about Su-yun. I'm worried about you. Zhuo Meiyan proudly handed the phone to Su-yun. Su-yun said with a sad face, Sister Feng Ying, even if you want to be biased, don't be so direct. I'm sitting next to you. Aren't you afraid that I will be heartbroken? You are too mean. At least say that you are worried. Just do it with all your strength. Feng Ying said helplessly, the film and television plaza is such a big thing. It's okay that none of you are here, but you still went to such a dangerous place to play. Do you want to die? Let me tell you, there are savages living in the snowy forest north of the Xing'an Mountain. Zhuo Meiyan stuck out her tongue. She knew that Feng Ying would preach to them. Sister Feng Ying, don't worry. Speaking of savages in the no man's land, there really is a local savage along the way. Su Yun glared at her and said, "What savages? Yuanbua and the others are Pakel people. Don't talk nonsense. If the locals hear it, it will be very disrespectful." Feng Ying was really frightened by their conversation. "What nonsense are you two talking about? Su Yun, tell me, what do you mean by what you said just now? You have members of the Paka clan with you? What was going on? You'd better not talk nonsense with me. I want to hear the truth." The Pakal tribesmen. "Ha, they were the local tribesmen." Su Yun scratched his head and said, "Feng Yingjie, don't ask, I'll explain it to you when we get back." Lin Ge was secretly surprised as he drove. Who was this Feng Yingjie? She dared to talk to Su Yun like that. "I order you not to go." Feng Ying said angrily, "Do you know anything about the Pakal tribesmen? They are an evil race. Do you know why they were driven into the snowy mountains by the people of the Xing and mountain region? Because they are the descendants of the true cannibals. The Pakal tribesmen are a bloodthirsty race. They like to eat people's hearts and human flesh. A few hundred years ago, 1/3 of the people in the Xing and mountain region were eaten by this race. I'm not joking with you. Su Yun, Zhang Tai Sui gave me 3 chances to order you. You know, I'll use it this time. As your godfather, Zhang Tai Sui, I order you to bring Zhou Meiyan back immediately." It could be heard that Feng Ying was really angry, but wasn't her words too serious? No matter what, Zhou Meiyan still felt her back tingle. It sounded too scary. Su Yun couldn't help but refute. "Feng Yingjie, I don't know where you heard this legend, but I can tell you for sure that the Pakal tribesmen are definitely not cannibals. I once brought a group of my brothers to live in their homeland for a month or 2, and I didn't see them eat human flesh." Feng Ying suppressed her anger. "Su Yun, I beg you, listen to me. They didn't dare to do anything to you last time because you had more people, but this time is different. This time we have more people too. Feng Yingjie, don't worry." Su Yun hung up the phone. He didn't want to listen to Feng Ying's lecture anymore. After being hung up on, Feng Ying also knew that it was useless for her to say anything more, but she would never allow them to continue like this. She had to find a way to solve this. "Su Yun, is what Feng Yingjie said true? Zhou Meiyan still has goosebumps because of what she said about cannibalism. I was really scared." "I really don't think so. Su Yun, that's just a legend. There's no need to believe in legends. Back then, when I came in contact with Yuan Bo and his clansmen alone, I didn't see them cook me." Although Su Yun's words could reassure Zhou Meiyan that it was just a legend, she was still shocked. Lin Ge smiled and changed the topic. "Brother, this is the first time I've heard of this. So the famous Tai Sui, Zhang Jiaji, is your godfather. No wonder. Ha, even your godfather's name is so famous. I really don't know what kind of people your parents are." Parents. Su Yun hadn't fantasized about this title for a long time. When Lin Ge mentioned it, he couldn't help but be slightly stunned. In his memory, there was no concept of parents at all. In fact, he really hoped that he had some memory, even if it was just a blurry memory. But no matter how hard he racked his brain, he had no idea at all. Not even a blurry memory. Using Zhang Taisui's words, he was the same as traveling monk's son, who had created havoc in the heavenly palace. He had absorbed the essence of the sun and the moon and jumped out of a crack in a rock. It was fine to lie to children, but Su Yun was already so old. He had flesh and blood, and he knew about the things between men and women. So this lie had been exposed long ago. Unfortunately, Su Yun didn't even have a chance to ask before Zhang Taisui left. In fact, Su Yun didn't want to think about these things. But now that it was mentioned, he couldn't help but think about it. Could it be that one day, when he became successful, he would be able to meet his parents? He had always thought that Zhang Taisui was lying to him. But as he grew older, he became more and more convinced that it was true. Although Su Yun had hated when he was young, when he was really at this age, all that was left was family. By the way, when will we get there? Zhou Meiyan could see that Su Yun's expression had changed, so she hurriedly changed the topic. Su Yun, you've been here before. Do you have any impression of this place? Su Yun put away his thoughts and glanced out of the car window. It's really hard to tell the destination in this vast expanse of snow. Although I've been here twice, the first time was by accident. The second time I was able to find the place again, more or less, with some luck. And the interval was relatively short at that time. It's been so long since I've been here last time. I really can't remember. Zhua Meiyan said again, didn't Yuanbo leave his home for a long time? He can't find the place, can he? That's why I asked you to prepare so many supplies and gasoline. I'm worried that he won't be able to find the destination. Su Yun looked at the leading car in front of him and thought for a while. It's getting late. I'm afraid we'll have to spend the night here. Zhua Meiyan frowned. No way. I thought we could find the place quickly. If I had known, we would have set off tomorrow morning. It's dark at night. Won't we have even less sense of direction? Lin Gu had a different opinion. Sister Meiyan, in fact, there's no difference between the darkness at night and the whiteness during the day. There's basically no sense of direction. Just trust Yuanbo's direction. After all, he's from the same tribe. After living in the same place for a long time, his hometown will more or less have a magnetic reaction to him. Don't worry, he'll definitely take us to the destination. It's just a matter of time. The car drove in the snow for nearly 3 hours. Finally, the car in front of them stopped. Wu Yuandong and Yuanbo opened the door and got out. Zhua Yeming also got out of the car. The three of them all walked to the front of the car. Su Yun knew that something was wrong. He quickly ordered Lin Gu to stop the car and turn off the engine to save fuel. Then he jumped out of the car and ran forward. Brother-in-law, the front wheel of the car is stuck in the snow. Seeing Su Yun coming over, Zhua Yeming immediately said, this road is too deceitful. It looks like a vast expanse of whiteness. Who knew that there was a snow pit hidden in this place? Wu Yuandong breathed out cold air and said, yes, Brother Su Yun, this snow pit was too sudden. Fortunately, the car tires were not damaged. Don't worry, we'll find a way to push the car out. After Su Yun finished speaking, he called everyone over. Wang Zhe and the other three in the car also turned off the engine and ran over. Although they couldn't exert any strength in the snow, the 9 of them were after all masters. If they couldn't even get a car out, wouldn't they lose face? With everyone's joint efforts, the car was out in 10 minutes. Although it didn't take much effort, it wasn't easy. Huff. Zhua Yeming let out a long breath and squatted in the snow. It's so dark. Are we still going to continue? No problem. For me, there's no difference between day and night. Yuanbo said, if we're not going the wrong way, we'll be able to reach the homeland of our Alpaca clan in about 2 to 3 hours. Su Yun shook his head and said firmly, no, we're not going to continue today. In this kind of place, the car lights at night travel a long distance. If we continue, the car lights will easily expose us. What I mean is, since there's still 2 or 3 hours to go, let's set up camp here today and have a good night's rest. We'll continue tomorrow morning when the sky is bright. Although they had bought all the equipment, were they really going to sleep in the snow? Would the tent and sleeping bag work? Zhua Meiyan was worried when she bought these things. She bought them just in case. She didn't expect that they would really come in handy. Although the equipment store owner said that the sleeping bag was super cold, the temperature here was definitely unimaginable for ordinary people. It was too low. A conservative estimate was more than minus 20 degrees Celsius, maybe even minus 30 degrees Celsius. Chapter 553. After all, this was where Yuan Bo grew up. Even though he had stayed in Yanjing for a while, he quickly adapted to the temperature here after returning to Xing and Mountain. The others were different. Except for Su Yun and Lin Gu, who had experienced this cold environment before, and Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang, who were born in the northeast, the others had never been to such a cold place. At the very least, Su Yun could tell from the surface that Zhua Meiyan was not used to it. Every time she breathed out hot air, she would involuntarily cover her face with her hands. Looking at her slightly red nose, Su Yun was sure that she was not feeling well. Zhua Yeming was young and strong, so he could basically tolerate this temperature. Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe would also inadvertently stomp their feet and rub their hands. Obviously, this was a natural reaction to being uncomfortable. This was undeniable. After all, both of them were Southerners, especially Wu Yuandong, who grew up on Taiwan Island. How could he adapt to the cold in the extreme north of Huaxia so quickly? Fortunately, Su Yun had thought about this problem before he came. I have an arrangement. Among all of us here, except for Yuan Bo, I'm afraid no one can sleep in a cold sleeping bag and a windproof tent for a night. So, other than Yuan Bo, we'll form a group of 2 and put the 2 layers of sleeping bags together. The 2 of us will squeeze into the same sleeping bag. This will keep us warm. This was a good idea. Yuan Bo nodded. Brother Yun is right. Other than me, none of you can adapt. Although I can feel the cold, I'm used to this climate. I can withstand it. If you don't do a good job of keeping warm, you might freeze after sleeping for a night. Don't talk about sleeping for a night. I'm a little frozen now. Zhua Yeming shook his head helplessly. This corner is really not a place for people to stay. Yuan Bo, how do you Pekel people survive here? I really have to hand it to you guys. It's already like this and you still don't move south. Even the little swallow knows that we have to move south in winter. You guys are too stubborn. But Yuan Bo said seriously, home is home. As a clansman, as a warrior of the Paka clan, we can never give up our home. Giving up our home is a great disrespect to our ancestors and the gods. So no matter how cold it is here, we will not give up our home. Su Yun smiled and explained, the land of the Pakal clan is a magical place. In this world of ice and snow, the temperature is -20 to -30 degrees Celsius. It's incredible that the temperature can be maintained at around 0 degrees Celsius. Maybe it's really the protection of the gods of the Pakal clan. Let their home be so warm. Could 0 degrees Celsius be considered warm? But thinking about it, compared to -20 to 30 degrees Celsius, that place was 20 to 30 degrees Celsius higher. It could be said that it was quite warm. Their people could probably use the word hot to describe it. Zhua Meiyan couldn't help but sigh at how the world was filled with all sorts of strange things. She was starting to yearn to sleep in a place with 0 degrees Celsius. Since they had chosen to come to this place, they should be prepared to face all difficulties. At this point, they could only do as Su Yun said. The Zhang brothers looked at each other. Zhang Yongliang smiled helplessly and said, Brother, we haven't slept in the same bed since we were 3 years old. Now that we are suddenly sleeping in a sleeping bag, I really miss my childhood. Haha, who said no? Zhang Wanning also smiled and said, We really have to thank Brother Yun for giving us this opportunity. Seeing this, Wang Zhe also glanced at Wu Yuandong. Brother Dong, are you sure you are straight and not gay? 100% straight. Don't worry. Wu Yuandong laughed. Then you have to make sure you are not gay. No problem. Since we're both straight, we'll just make do with it. Wang Zhe also immediately found his sleeping partner. Zhua Yeming looked around and could only lock his eyes on Lin Gu. Then we can only make do. Hey, give my sister and brother-in-law a chance. Lin Gu nodded and agreed. Of course, this brother and sister-in-law should be together. Together. At this juncture, these guys were still in the mood to kick up a fuss. Su Yun and Zhua Meiyan really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You guys are almost enough. Such a small sleeping bag, so what if we sleep together? We can't even move. You don't think I will do anything, do you? Su Yun said helplessly, Okay, hurry up and set up the tent. Don't kick up a fuss anymore. It will be troublesome if an avalanche comes. Zhua Yeming grinned and said, Brother-in-law, we are setting up a big tent. When you enter the tent later, will we set up a small tent? These words caused everyone to laugh again. Zhua Meiyan unceremoniously slapped Zhua Yeming's head, which made the stinky boy shut up. Will you die if you don't talk dirty? Believe it or not, I will personally cripple you. You really don't treat yourself as an outsider to joke about your sister. Zhuo Yeming felt wronged. I am not an outsider to begin with. Everyone's work efficiency was high. Several tents were quickly set up. According to the previous grouping, the two of them went into the tent separately. Only Yuan Bo was alone. After Su Yun and Zhuo Meiyan went into the tent, they felt a little embarrassed because of the few people just now. Su Yun was also worried that he would really set up a small tent later. He could only force himself to try his best to divert his attention. Otherwise, it would be really embarrassing. After all, the two of them were squeezed in the same sleeping bag. Even if they didn't take off their clothes, it was still very embarrassing. Compared to Su Yun's embarrassment, Zhuo Meiyan was much more generous. Originally, she didn't have much scruples about Su Yun. She even dared to give herself to him. What else did she not dare to do? She was just afraid that Su Yun wouldn't dare to accept. Hurry up and get ready to sleep. If I don't get into the sleeping bag, I will freeze. As Zhuo Meiyan spoke, she took off the outermost jacket and pants and put the two sleeping bags together. She knew that Su Yun was very embarrassed about these things and felt embarrassed, so she went in first. Su Yun despised himself fiercely. The woman didn't even say anything, so why should he, a man, be shy? Let's go in then. After thinking about it, Su Yun also took off his jacket and squeezed into the same bed with Zhuo Meiyan. The temperature of the two of them quickly rose. Compared to stomping their feet in the cold outside, this was a very comfortable environment. Zhuo Meiyan turned to face Su Yun. The two of them were tightly pressed together because of the sleeping bags. Su Yun could clearly feel Zhuo Meiyan's soft and elastic chest pressing against his chest. This kind of feeling could only be described as wonderful. At the very least, Su Yun didn't even dare to breathe loudly. His mind was completely blank. To be honest, ever since his extreme young body was broken by Yumerin, his resistance to women had dropped to the negatives. Especially when facing a natural beauty like Zhuo Meiyan. He was completely captivated. Zhuo Meiyan was hugged in Su Yun's arms. Although it felt a little squeezy, she still felt very happy. At least, this was the first time she was able to sleep in Su Yun's arms as she wished. Although the environment was terrible, although there were serious things waiting for them to deal with, she still threw all her unhappiness to the back of her mind. The ambiguous atmosphere made the sleeping bag even warmer. Su Yun could even feel sweat seeping out of his forehead. If anyone dared to say that he didn't have any thoughts, it meant that they didn't understand men at all. Su Yun could only desperately think of other things and count sheep to divert his attention. However, no matter how hard he tried to divert his attention, he would eventually be pulled back to reality by Zhuo Meiyan's soft breathing. Su Yun couldn't help but sigh. No wonder heroes couldn't resist the charms of beauties since ancient times. He was a layman after all, not a Buddha who jumped out of a crack like traveling monk Sunday. I can't sleep. What about you? Zhuo Meiyan's face was red. She was as shy as a little girl who had just experienced her first awakening of love. Su Yun sighed. I can sleep. You can close your eyes and count sheep for a while. Then you'll fall asleep very quickly. Don't think about anything else. We have things to do tomorrow morning. Can you really sleep? What's poking me down there? After Zhuo Meiyan finished speaking, her whole face turned red. The redness spread all the way to her ears. She was so shy that she didn't even dare to look at Su Yun. Su Yun was completely defeated. It was all that bastard Su Yun's fault. He insisted that he wanted to set up a small tent. He couldn't help but set up a small tent in the sleeping bag. Because the sleeping bag was too small, although he tried his best to move back, the small tent he set up still mercilessly poked Zhuo Meiyan's lower abdomen. How embarrassing! This really made Su Yun feel embarrassed. In this environment, Su Yun couldn't wait to dig a hole in the snow and stuff his head into it to wake himself up. How could he still have such thoughts at this time? It was really embarrassing. Zhuo Meiyan was very open-minded. I know what you're thinking, but not now. If you really want it, after we help Yuan Bo take back his home, I'll definitely give it to you. A few years ago, Zhuo Meiyan wanted to give herself to him. At that time, Su Yun could resist, but now things were different. He really couldn't stand it. If it weren't for the weather and the fact that the sleeping bag was too small, Su Yun would have immediately punished Zhuo Meiyan on the spot. God, please don't play with me anymore. How can you still joke with me at this time? Su Yun smiled bitterly in his heart. Can you give me this opportunity at another time? The two hugged each other like this. Su Yun's embarrassment gradually disappeared with Zhuo Meiyan's comforting. In the end, Su Yun really didn't know how he fell asleep. In a daze, he listened to Zhuo Meiyan softly humming a lullaby and slowly fell asleep. This feeling was really good. Su Yun had never felt this warm since he was a child. At night, Su Yun had a strange dream. He, who had never seen his parents since he was a child, dreamed that he was still lying in the cradle when he was 1 year old. His parents stood on both sides and softly sang a lullaby to coax him to sleep. But the faces of his parents were very blurry, very blurry. When Su Yun struggled to see the faces of the two people clearly, he suddenly shuddered and woke up. At this moment, the sky was already bright. Chapter 554. Zhuo Meiyan was immediately awakened by Su Yun's reaction. After she opened her eyes, she immediately realized that there were some special sounds outside. She asked Su Yun with a blank face, "Are you awake? What's that noise outside? What are they up to?" Su Yun quickly regained consciousness in his dream. He shook his head helplessly at Zhuo Meiyan and said with a wry smile, "It seems that they have all gotten up to deal with the snow. Let's get up quickly. We don't know where the snow is buried tonight. If we don't get up to dig the snow, I'm afraid we can't even open the tent door." While they were talking, Su Yun had already put on his clothes. Zhuo Meiyan also realized that something was wrong around the tent. There was a very strong sense of oppression. She also got up and quickly put on her clothes. At this time, Su Yun opened the tent door, and a thick layer of snow poured into their tent. Zhuo Meiyan was so shocked that her eyes widened for a long time and she couldn't react to what was going on. Wasn't this too exaggerated? Su Yun crawled out of the tent along the snow and saw that Lin Gu and Zhuo Yeming had just woken up in the opposite tent. Their faces were full of surprise like Zhuo Meiyan's. Yuan Bo and the Zhang brothers were already in full swing. They were about to dig their tents out of the snow nest. They really didn't expect that the snow could accumulate more than half a meter thick overnight. It really surprised them, who didn't see snow once a year on average. "Brother-in-law, did you sleep well last night?" Zhuo Yeming stretched and grabbed a handful of snow to rub his face. He instantly became much more energetic. "Last night, I heard from Lin Gu that you have a beautiful sister who grew up with you. She's your childhood sweetheart. Hee, compared with my sister, who has a better life." If this guy was really Su Yun's brother-in-law, Su Yun would definitely go up and stuff his head into the snow nest and suffocate him to death. How could he talk like that? Zhuo Meiyan was his biological sister, wasn't she? Now, Su Yun didn't even need to do anything. Zhuo Meiyan was already burning with anger. She rushed out of the tent, grabbed a handful of snow and stuffed it into Zhuo Yeming's mouth. She said angrily, "Do you want to cut off your tongue so that you won't talk nonsense? Brat, remember, I'm your sister. You'd better not compare your sister with other women." Zhuo Yeming hurriedly stepped back and spat out the snow in his mouth. His teeth were chattering because of the cold. I know. Sister, I was wrong. I changed. I won't do it again. Please let me go. Spare my life. Humph. Zhuo Meiyan snorted heavily. Lin Gu was so happy that his stomach hurt, but he didn't dare to laugh out loud. At this time, Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe also came out of the tent. The surprise on their faces was the same as before. They couldn't believe that there was such heavy snow. It was amazing. This was simply a country of ice and snow. At this time, Zhuo Meiyan walked to Lin Ji's side and asked with a smile that hid a knife, "Brother Lin, did you say that Su Yun has a childhood sweetheart with a little lover? Then, Who is prettier between that little lover and Sister Mayen? Of course it was Sister Mayen. Lin Ji's smile froze on his face. He didn't dare to say anything else. Zhou Mayen's eyes were full of undisguised interrogation. Su Yun sighed. A woman's jealousy was really strong. She even wanted to compare herself with someone she had never seen before. She was not willing to be outdone. It was really too scary. Fortunately, Zhou Meiyan was very satisfied with Lin Ji's answer. She smiled and said to Lin Gu, "Brother Lin has good taste. In the future, you will definitely find a girl who is prettier than Sister Meiyan to be your wife." He, what kind of girl do you like? Sister Meiyan is in charge of an entertainment company. I don't lack beautiful girls. Even if you want to find two to practice, I can still help you find one. Lin Gu didn't doubt this. She was the boss of Sky Entertainment Group. She knew a lot of beautiful female stars. Sister Meiyan, is our Hua Xia's national goddess Ling Jiling also an artist under Sky Entertainment Group? Of course, Ling Jiling was packaged by Sky Entertainment Group. Zhou Meiyan said, but she quickly changed the topic. But Ling Jiling is not suitable for Brother Lin. First of all, there is a big age gap between you two. Ling Jiling is 3 years older than your brother Su Yun. Secondly, your brother Su Yun and sister Jiling have a little scandal. The two of them went to Suong to shoot an advertisement for a certain underwear brand. Well, as for whether there's anything ambiguous between the two of them, I don't dare to guarantee it. Lin Ji's satisfied face made Su Yun completely speechless. Lin Gu, are you here to listen to stories? Hurry up. Dig out the tents for me. Don't you see the cars are half buried in the snow? If you don't want to be frozen and can't walk, then don't waste any more time. Although Lin Gu wanted more gossip, he immediately obeyed Su Yun and hurried to dig out the tents. Su Yun didn't stay idle either. He personally took action. Seeing that Su Yun had given the order, Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe also grabbed a handful of snow to wash their faces. In an instant, they were refreshed and immediately threw themselves into work. Soon, everyone tidied up the tents and sleeping bags. They put them in the vacuum compression bags and put them in the trunk of the car. The next step was to dig the car in full swing. Everyone took a shovel and started digging. When they reached the depths of the car tires, the snow started to freeze. Su Yun immediately ordered them to start the car. In such a cold and snowy place, if the car was not heated up for half an hour, it would be easy for the car to break down. While starting the car to warm up, everyone worked together to remove the snow under the car. The most troublesome thing for them was the snow on the front windshield. Because it was too thick, the innermost layer had already turned into frost. In this case, they couldn't use hot water to burn it. If they did, it would easily cause the glass to explode. They could only wipe it with their hands with a towel. The heat generated would melt the thick frost on the glass. Then, they sprayed some glass water to better deal with the problem of the front windshield. This early morning warm-up really made everyone forget the cold feeling. After everything was taken care of, Zhang Yongliang found the energy drinks and water they had prepared, as well as all kinds of high-calorie food and meat. Although breakfast was a little difficult, it was still good. At least there were supplements in all aspects, enough for them to be full of physical strength and calories. For Su Yun, this was enough. After all, they weren't on vacation this time, nor were they looking for excitement. They were here to do business. After everyone had eaten, Yuanbo suddenly knelt in front of everyone. His sudden behavior really shocked everyone. Su Yun looked at Yuanbo, not knowing what to do. He was about to say something to stop him, but Yuanbo rejected Su Yun with a very serious look in his eyes. Su Yun knew that since Yuanbo had chosen to do this, he had his reasons, so he didn't continue to stop him. Yuanbo kneels here to express his gratitude to you, and also to express our gratitude to you on behalf of all the people of the Paka clan. Yuanbo said, I swear on the honor of the Paka clan's god that you are the heroes of our Paka clan. We will worship you forever to express our gratitude. I will pass on everything you have done to save our clan to our descendants, so that our descendants, and our descendants' descendants, will remember you forever. This gift was too heavy, and no one could accept it. However, Su Yun still waited for Yuanbua to finish speaking before helping him up. You are my brother, and the people of the Paka clan are all my brothers and sisters. This is nothing, don't take it to heart. Yuanbua's eyes were already filled with tears. I really don't know what to do. Okay, brothers, it's time to go. Su Yun ordered. Our purpose here is to help Yuanbua take back his home. Then we must take it down. We will complete the mission. Everyone was now boiling with excitement. Everyone wanted to fight fiercely with those bastards who invaded the Paka clan as soon as possible. They wanted to let them know what it meant to have true feelings in the world, and that victory would always be on the side of justice. After setting off again, Su Yun began to become more and more cautious. He let Yuanbua sit in his car, and he personally drove in front to lead the way. Meanwhile, Lin Ge went to Wu Yuandong's car. Along the way, Yuanbua was very serious about identifying the places they had passed. Finally, after more than 2 hours, Yuanbua's eyes shone. He excitedly grabbed Su Yun's arm. Brother Yun, if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 kilometers ahead on the left is the place where we enter our home. After being reminded by Yuanbua, Su Yun also began to recall the scene when he found this place. Although it was covered in white snow and he couldn't see the end of it, it was the few tall cedars that guided him. That's right, the direction Yuanbua pointed to was the paradise of the Paka clan. It was the paradise in the snow, and it was definitely comparable to an oasis in the desert. Su Yun immediately chose to lead everyone to a hidden hiding place. Then, he got out of the car and filled it with gasoline. Finally, he began to lighten his equipment to make it as comfortable as possible and as warm as possible. Then, he brought some simple food to replenish his calories and emergency water, and prepared to sneak in on foot. Among the 9 people in the team, other than Wang Zhe who used the large ghost-face Rakshasa blade, the others were very convenient. All of Zhua Meiyan's fist techniques were inherited from Zhang Taisui. Zhua Yeming's weapon was the demon-subduing 9-section whip hidden at his waist. Usually, he would not use it unless it was a critical moment. This was because the whip had a demonic nature and was especially bloodthirsty. Wu Yuandong and the Zhang brothers relied on their fists and feet to conquer the world. It could be said that they could use any kind of weapon, but their fists were the most reliable. Yuanbua's weapon was a wrist knife used to skin animals. As long as he had this, he would be able to do things smoothly. Lin Gu was the same as them. He could use anything. When it came to his favorite weapon, it was the handful of coins in his pocket. To him, these things were much better than hidden weapons. Chapter 555. After entering the paradise of the Paka tribe, Zhua Meiyan finally understood why Su Yun called this place a peaceful homeland. The temperature here was completely different from that of the pine trees in the sky. Although it was still a world of ice and snow, the temperature here was definitely not as piercing. Anyone north of the Yangtze River would definitely be able to accept this temperature. This was too exaggerated. It was just a few trees apart, but there was such a big difference in temperature. Lin Gu couldn't help but sigh. Oh my God, this is simply a blessed land with feng shui. Brother Yun, no wonder you are so concerned about Yuanbua. This place is indeed a paradise. It's a pity that it was destroyed. But how did the people of the Viper expedition find this place? Yuanbua sighed helplessly. It's all my fault. If it weren't for my carelessness, I wouldn't have brought this group of people to my homeland. It's all because I trusted them too much. I didn't expect them to be such a group of vicious people with such a vicious mentality. Su Yun shook his head. It's all my fault. If I hadn't come here and disturbed Yuanbua's life, he wouldn't have been so kind as to bring strangers into their homeland. This time I came here to atone for my sins. It's all my fault for destroying your peace and causing your people to suffer such a disaster. Well, it's not a matter of who to blame now. It's a matter of how we do it. My eyesight is not bad, Zhua Meiyan said. I can basically see their tribe's tribal group. There are 2 groups of patrols outside, 3 in a group, all equipped with guns. This should be easy to deal with. As for the inside, it's a bit chaotic. What are many of your people digging for? There seem to be a lot of guards, and they all have heavy weapons in their hands. It's hard to determine how many people there are. It was because of the rare jade underground that their people were in trouble. Su Yun said, the people of the Viper expedition are here for the rare jade underground. Yuan Bo also saw the situation in the tribe from afar. The mined land was quite hard, and it was difficult to dig with manual labor. However, there were no large machines here, and using large machines could easily hurt rare jade. Manual labor was the only solution. He didn't know how long his clansmen had been digging day and night, but the hard ground had already been dug into a deep pit that was as tall as a person. The area they had dug was about a dozen acres. If this was a normal construction site, an excavator would be able to complete it in a day. But here, it was the result of his clansmen working day and night for hundreds of days. At the entrance of their tribe, Yuan Bo could clearly see a few corpses hanging high up in the air. Because they were too far away, he couldn't tell who had been hung up, nor could he tell whether they were men or women. Thinking of his mother and sister who had been killed, Yuan Bo clenched his fists until they made cracking sounds. Su Yun knew that Yuan Bo couldn't hold it in anymore, but he might be able to win if he rushed up now, but he would definitely hurt innocent clansmen. He had to calm Yuan Bo down. We can't act rashly. Yuan Bo, think about your clansmen. Su Yun grabbed Yuan Bo's shoulder and said, don't let your clansmen be slaughtered again because of your impulsiveness. They have guns in their hands, and among your clansmen, other than the warriors who can fight, everyone else has no fighting ability. Su Yun's words made sense. Yuan Bo once again resisted his impulse. Su Yun was right. He had to learn to endure. At that time, it was because he didn't endure that his mother and sister were poisoned. Zhang Wuning and Zhang Yongliang were both rough people. To be honest, when they saw the corpses hanging at the entrance of the tribe, they couldn't help but want to beat up this group of inhumane people, not to mention Yuan Bo's mentality as a warrior of this race. He could control his emotions. He was really a very patient person. Su Yun is right. We are not afraid to face these people directly, but these people have the entire Paca clan as hostages. If we annoy them, they will really choose to die together. Wu Yuandong said, they have heavy weapons in their hands. Those heavy machine guns are directly facing the densely packed Paca clansmen in the deep pit. As long as one of them pulls the trigger, many people will die. We can't be so impulsive. Wang Zhe rubbed his ghost-face Rakshasa saber over and over again with his palms, and said, then what should we do? Are we just going to watch them whip and kick Yuan Bo's clansmen? I really can't stand it anymore. Not to mention Yuan Bo's clansmen, even I, who have nothing to do with them, feel especially angry when I see this. Lin Ge had been quietly counting the number of enemies he could see. He didn't say a word. He was a careful person, and this was also the reason why Su Yun brought him here. After finally counting the number of enemies he could see, Lin Ge opened his mouth. Brother, there are a total of 54 enemies, but in their tribe's room, there must be these people's management personnel. I believe that the Viper exploration team also takes this matter seriously, so there must be masters inside. If we calculate according to the popular 7-person group, there might be 9 captain-level people in the room. Zhua Yeming's eyes widened. 9 captains? Isn't there only the Viper exploration team? What are the other 8 exploration teams? Who said that the Viper exploration team only has one team? Lin Ge said, this super multinational company is very big, and the Viper exploration team is also quite big. Not to mention that there are 9 teams here, I'm afraid that at the same time, there are people from the Viper exploration team all over the world. If my guess is right, the Viper exploration team has sent 9 teams to deal with the matter here. It can be seen that the behind-the-scenes boss attaches great importance to this matter. Su Yun sucked in a breath of cold air. He didn't expect that the opponent he was going to face would be so difficult to deal with. Ma Saner, that bastard, actually didn't make things clear with him. When he got back, he would settle the score with him. Zhou Meiyan cast her gaze on Su Yun. You are the captain. What should we do? We will listen to your arrangements. Everyone's eyes, like Zhou Meiyan's, were all cast on Su Yun, waiting for Su Yun to speak. All the pressure hit Su Yun. Fortunately, Su Yun had been the leader of the Dragon Fury team for many years, so he had long been used to this feeling of pressure. We will hide here first. 9 people will take turns to observe and monitor. The rest of you will rest, save your strength and heat, and be ready to fight at any time. Su Yun, previously, I didn't realize that all the tribesmen would become hostages, so we must not make a move during the day. I hope we will have a chance at night. The premise of our attack is that we can't let the other party continue to hurt Yuan Bo's tribesmen. Everyone nodded to show that there was no problem. What followed was a long wait, waiting for day to turn into night. Perhaps because they were nervous and expectant, time passed very quickly. One day felt like a week had passed. Even a patient killer like Lin Gu couldn't help but rub his hands in the end. The sky finally darkened, but several spotlights lit up in the tribe. The tribesmen continued to work under the illumination of the lights. Some were so tired that they collapsed, but they were only pulled out to rest for an hour or half an hour. Then, they were urged to work again. If they didn't want to work, they were doused with cold water. This was too abominable. They didn't treat people as human beings at all. Everyone was angry, but even at night, the other party didn't seem to have any intention of resting. There were still shifts and patrols. It was a complete defense. The tribesmen were still working in the deep pit. If they launched an attack, it would still endanger their lives. Su Yun and the others were once again in a difficult situation. No one could come up with a good solution. Yuan Bo was so anxious that his forehead was starting to sweat. He really couldn't watch any longer. His clansmen were actually enduring such torment. As a warrior of the Pakal clan, he was powerless. How painful was this feeling? Sneak in quietly. Su Yun finally gave an order: we must not let the other party discover us. Sneak in under the cover of night. Without my order, no one is to act without my permission. Even if the other party's people walk past with their backs to you, if I don't let you kill them, you can't kill them. Now is the most critical moment. Remember to act rashly and alert the enemy. Lin Gu nodded and said, indeed, we can't kill the patrols. After each round of patrol, they will change people. Basically, it's a group of people every 40 minutes. If this group doesn't return within 40 minutes, it will inevitably arouse suspicion. We can't possibly finish everything in 40 minutes, so we must not act rashly. After Lin Ji's explanation, the Zhang brothers finally understood Su Yun's meaning. They nodded to show that it made sense. At this time, they admired Su Yun even more. Just now, they really didn't intend to listen. If Lin Gu didn't explain, the Zhang brothers would definitely break their necks when they encountered the patrols. Under Su Yun's command, the 9 people divided into 3 groups and sneaked into the tribe. Taking advantage of the darkness, they got closer and closer to the tribe. At this time, Yuan Bo had also clearly seen the bodies hanging at the entrance of the tribe. He couldn't recognize who they were at all, because the bodies had been completely frozen and air-dried. The only thing that allowed Yuan Bo to identify them was the special belt on their waists. Although the light was weak, he could still see the special embroidery pattern on the belt. These 3 air-dried bodies were all warriors of the Pakal clan. Yuan Bo felt a sharp pain in his heart. He really couldn't bear it anymore. At this time, the 3 patrols came from afar. Yuan Bo, who was full of anger, began to lose control. At the most critical moment, Su Yun pressed Yuan Bo's head into the snow nest. The cold feeling woke him up, and he knew what he should and shouldn't do. When the 3 patrols were far away again, Su Yun pulled Yuan Bo out of the snow nest and whispered, "If you want revenge, then you can't be impulsive. Yuan Bo, believe me, I will definitely find a way to help you take back your home and people. I mean what I say." Suddenly, a cry of wild joy came from the tribe. "Found it! Found it!" Chapter 556. This cry was like a sudden clap of thunder. In an instant, all the spotlights were focused on the source of the sound. After hundreds of days and nights of endless digging and mining, they had finally dug out a rare piece of jade from this legendary land. Perhaps the reason this land could survive in this world of ice and snow was due to the existence of such a huge piece of jade. If this piece of jade was mined, perhaps the entire Pakal tribe would not be facing the predicament of losing their home. These so-called explorers' true goal was to take everything away from them, and now their scheme had succeeded. Yuan Bo looked at Su Yun with his eyes wide open. At this moment, he really wanted to rush out and see what was going on. He couldn't believe that this group of people had really dug up the treasures bestowed by the gods of his clan. This made Yuan Bo feel waves of heartache, and it was impossible to describe this feeling with words. Perhaps only those who had deep feelings for this land could understand Yuan Bo's feelings at this moment. Of course, Su Yun was also curious about what had happened inside and what they had dug up. However, now wasn't the time to think about that. Their purpose here wasn't to be curious about the jade, but to find an opportunity to strike and catch the enemy off guard. Only then could they ensure the safety of the Pakal tribesmen. Only then could they take back everything that belonged to the Pakal tribesmen from the hands of this group of vicious people. And now, it seemed like an opportunity that could not be missed. Su Yun quietly leaned against the snow on the ground. Countless footsteps rushed towards the source of the cry. Of course, this sound did not only attract the workers, guards, and patrols. Other than them who rushed over to see what was going on, a few people who had not shown up during the day also rushed out of the tribal house. Although Su Yun could not see, he could hear that these footsteps were of people with deep inner strength. They were extremely weak, and perhaps their strength was not below theirs. "Brother, this is an opportunity." Lin Gu looked at Su Yun with a questioning gaze, using both sign and lip language to indicate if Su Yun should make a move now. This was indeed a rare opportunity. Everyone's attention was on the thing that had just been dug out. If they suddenly attacked, they would definitely be able to catch the other party off guard and make them piss their pants in terror. However, after receiving the question, Su Yun raised his left hand and gestured for them to continue waiting. His maturity and experience were a stark contrast to Lin Ji's youthful impulsiveness. After all, Su Yun had a deep reputation in these people's hearts, so they would still follow his orders. If he did not give the order to attack, even if everyone felt that this was a good opportunity, they still resisted the strong desire to rush out. This was such a good opportunity to take advantage of the chaos. Why would Su Yun let it go? Based on Su Yun's judgment, almost all the footsteps had gathered around. Just as the commotion started, Su Yun gestured to Lin Gu and Zhuo Yeming. He pointed at the machine gunners on the two platforms opposite the deep pit and said, "Lin Gu, Zhuo Yeming, your mission is to silently take care of these two people and eliminate the hidden danger of the Pakal tribesmen." At this moment, everyone finally understood Su Yun's intention. If they had made a move just now, they might have been able to catch the other party off guard. However, the other party only needed to use the machine gunners to shoot at the crowd of Pakal tribesmen, and they would have no choice but to obediently raise their hands and surrender. Otherwise, these heartless and inhumane people would really do anything. Moreover, they had already dug out the rare jade, so they no longer needed these Pakal tribesmen to do manual labor. Yes. After receiving the order, Lin Gu and Zhuo Yeming immediately groped their way into the depths of the two platforms in the dark. When it came to skills and abilities, Lin Gu was definitely not weak. After all, he was a well-known super expert. Meanwhile, Zhuo Yeming obviously wanted to compete with Lin Gu to see who was better. While Lin Gu was still observing, Zhuo Yeming's figure quickly climbed up the platform like a snake. Before the person on the platform could react, Zhuo Yeming's demon subduing 9-section whip was tightly wrapped around the person's neck. In just 3 to 5 seconds, the person on the platform was dead. In order to not expose himself, Zhuo Yeming still maintained the person's sitting posture. Then, taking advantage of the darkness, he once again slithered down like a snake. Zhuo Yeming saw that he had already taken care of the person, but Lin Gu was still at the same spot. He couldn't help but feel proud. He boasted, "Lin Gu, if you don't know how to quietly take care of someone, I can help you." "Haha, I've already taken care of him. I'm just waiting for you." As Lin Gu spoke, his right hand was rubbing a few coins in the palm of his hand. The friction between the coins made a faint but pleasant sound. Zhuo Yeming opened his eyes wide and said, "Don't joke. I saw it. You didn't go up at all. Lin Ge, this is not a small matter. If you really can't do it, don't insist that you did it because you don't want to lose face. Maybe something will happen on this platform. You're not such an irresponsible person, are you?" Lin Ge was confused by Zhuo Yeming's words. "What do you mean? Because of my face? Come on, who said that I have to go up if I want to take care of the person on the platform? Can't I take care of it down there? What if I'm discovered when I go up? It's better for me to take care of it like this. Okay, don't talk nonsense. Retreat." After Lin Ge finished speaking, he went back the way he came. Zhuo Yeming still refused to believe Lin Ge. Just in case, after Lin Ge returned, his figure flashed again and climbed up to the second platform. Just when Zhuo Yeming was about to kill him, he found that the person on the platform had no reaction at all. In surprise, Zhuo Yeming looked at the person carefully. The other party had already died with his eyes wide open and his mouth open. This really shocked Zhuo Yeming. What kind of sorcery did Lin Ge use? He didn't even go up, but he killed the other party. My God, is that guy a human or a ghost? Or a little immortal who knows Taoist magic? Anyway, now that the task had been completed, Zhuo Yeming quickly left and returned to the others. The first thing Zhuo Yeming said when he came back was to question Lin Ge. "Are you a human or not? What kind of sorcery did you use? How on earth did you kill that person?" Lin Ge shook his head helplessly. No wonder this guy came back so late. It turned out that he went up to confirm whether the person he killed was really dead or not. Lin Ge took Zhuo Yeming's hand and put a coin in his palm. "Do you have to be so close to kill someone? Didn't I tell you that I can solve the problem without going up?" Looking at the coin in his palm, Zhuo Yeming's Adam's apple moved. He couldn't help but sigh. What a powerful hidden weapon technique. He can kill the opponent on the platform in the dark with a coin. This guy is really not an ordinary person. I'm afraid his strength is much higher than mine. After all, Zhuo Yeming's skills were taught by Zhang Tai-sui, so he rarely submitted to others. Today, he was shocked by Lin Ge, which showed that Lin Ji's method was really shocking. Su Yun gestured for them to stop talking. He was trying his best to listen to the conversation inside. Although he couldn't hear very clearly, he could at least get a vague idea. "Brother Bei, is this the legendary rare jade?" In the large pit dug by the Packer people, a guy with a strange hairstyle picked up a piece of stone with a translucent green crystal and stood up. He handed it to a tall man in the middle of the crowd. "If this thing is mixed with a stone, it's really hard to dig up a large area. The stone here is smelly and hard. It's not easy to dig up. It will definitely damage a large area of jade. If it's all this stuff, it's not much fun to take it out." The tall man was called Liu Bei, the leader of the Viper expedition team. The man with a strange hairstyle was the leader of the 6th team, Moeo. Liu Bei took the piece of stone with jade from Moeo's hand and smiled. "This is just dug up. The deeper we go, the richer the jade content. The whole tribe is a labor force. We just need them to separate the jade from the stone. We don't have to do it ourselves. It's just a matter of time." The leader of the 3rd team, Ma Tang, couldn't help but say, "Brother Bei, the boss didn't ask us to bring back a pile of broken jade. He wants a whole piece of rare jade. If we bring back a pile of broken jade, I'm afraid the boss won't be happy." "So what if he's unhappy?" "There's always a difference between fantasy and reality." Liu Bei snorted. "This kind of rare jade is already very rare. If it's a big piece, I'm afraid we can only hope that it exists below. The thing he wants to build with a whole piece of jade is too big and too exaggerated. If we can't satisfy him, it's not our fault. He's too idealistic." The leader of the 7th team, Ba Tianqi, chuckled, "But the boss is still the boss. Even if he's whimsical, we'll still be scolded when we go back after suffering for a few hundred days." The leader of the 11th team, Meng Shi, shrugged helplessly. "Can't help it. Who asked the 9 of us to do this task? Brother Bei, We've been busy with this task for a year or two. What benefits we can get in the end depends on how you fight with the boss." Everyone agreed with Meng Shi's words and pinned their hopes on Liu Bei. Liu Bei was the leader of the first team of the Viper expedition team. In front of the boss, she was the most hard-working one. The few people who came to the depths of the old snow forest in the Xing and mountains to do this task were all personally selected by Liu Bei. The leader of the second team, Dong Yang, the leader of the third team, Ma Tang, the leader of the fifth team, Bai Tiandi, the leader of the sixth team, Moeo, the leader of the seventh team, Ba Tianqi, the leader of the ninth team, Wang Tang, the leader of the 11th team, Meng Shi, and the leader of the 12th team, Sun Hao. Usually, these 8 people were the closest to him, so he brought them with him. After hearing Meng Shi's words, Liu Bei looked up and burst out into laughter 3 times, as if she was laughing at him for being too crazy and laughing at him for not being able to see through it. What exactly had happened to make Liu Bei laugh so excitedly and wildly? It must be known that these days, every time they received a call from the boss, they were scolded again. After all, this matter had happened so long ago. The 9 of them had been here for so many days, but there was no sign of it at all. Perhaps no boss in the world could bear it, right? Chapter 557. Liu Bei waved her hand and said lightly, "No need. If you tell this to the boss, even if it's far away, he will definitely come to see it in person. Such bad weather conditions are not suitable for the boss to come, and even if he comes, what can he do? Can you guarantee that there is a whole piece of rare jade below? Ha ha ha, and if he comes, do you think he will really just take the jade and leave? Doesn't he want to know what is under the jade? At that time, won't all the things below not be ours?" The captain of the 5th team, Bai Tiandi, frowned. "Brother Bei, do you really believe the legend you told us before?" "Legend? I mean legend," Liu Bei said. "That's because I didn't see this jade stone before. I thought it was a legend. But now that I see this jade stone, the legend I told you before is no longer a legend. Do you understand what I mean?" The captain of the 9th team, Wang Tang, took a deep breath. "Brother Bei, are you serious? Is there really a legendary mysterious ancient tomb under this rare jade? Is it really the tomb of those who tried to rule the world? I still can't believe it." The captain of the 12th team, Sun Hao, opened his mouth wide in surprise. "Brother Bei, is this rare jade really the material used by the owner of this ancient tomb to build the coffin lid? This is too extravagant. It's simply shocking. If the legend you told us is true, I really don't dare to accept it." Liu Bei waved her hand. "Why did I choose the 8 of you to come with me this time? It's because among all the people around the boss, I know that you are the most loyal to me. As long as I, Liu Bei, stand out, there will be a day when you all stand out. Why did we have to risk our lives to fight with the boss? Isn't it just for money? If we get the things in this ancient tomb this time, we can be rich in an instant. At that time, it's not certain who is richer between the boss and me. Why should I be used by him?" Dong Yang raised his eyebrows. "Brother Bei, you mean, we are going to fly alone? Is there anything wrong with that?" Liu Bei said, "Rare jade is priceless. The boss did not hesitate to spend thousands of gold to find these jade. What he didn't know was that the jade stone was just a coffin lid. The real treasure was hidden under the jade stone. If he wants jade stones, fine, we can give him jade stones, but everything below is ours. Ha ha, as long as we have money, what do we have to worry about? We can buy most of the company's shares from the shareholders. By then, we will be the boss. We have money. We can raise our own people and continue doing this profitable business. Isn't that right?" Liu Bei's words made everyone's hearts itch. Liu Bei grasped the same mentality of these people. Everyone had a special sense of awe for the boss, and now they had a chance to turn things around and be on an equal footing with the boss. Who wouldn't want it? "Brother Bei, do you mean that even if the boss calls again, we won't tell him that we've dug up a rare jade?" Moeo already understood. "In this way, we can take away the real treasure under the jade with peace of mind. When we become the major shareholders of the company, the boss will be dumbfounded." Ha ha ha. Brother Bay, I have never admired anyone in my life. The only person I admire is you. By the time Moeo finished his speech, everyone had basically understood Liu Bei's ambition. After all, Liu Bei was the person who had worked with the boss for the longest time. He knew everything about the boss and his every move. Since he already had a plan to do this, the 8 people who came out with him had already been pulled into the pirate ship unknowingly. After all, they were pulled into the pirate ship unknowingly. Therefore, Liu Bei was inevitably worried that these people would not be so sure that they would wallow in the mire with him. After all, anyone in this world would have selfishness. A person who said that he had no selfishness at all was not a person at all. Among the 8 people present with Liu Bei, would anyone secretly inform the boss? This was also a problem that Liu Bei was extremely worried about. After all, he had already made it clear. Do you know how the boss got to his position? Liu Bei smiled slightly. I think if I don't say it out loud, none of you will be able to guess. The way the boss got to his position is similar to what I am doing now. However, at that time, it was not a jade coffin in this world of ice and snow, but a sunken ship at the bottom of the sea. The boss relied on his first bucket of gold to gain a foothold in the company. Then, he created a car accident and killed the former boss. Then, he threatened the former boss's wife to sell the shares to him and married the former boss's daughter. Everyone could not help but exclaim. It turned out that there was such a past. No wonder the lady boss always had so many disputes with the boss. It turned out that the boss took everything that did not belong to him in this way. Seeing that everyone was shocked, Liu Bei continued, Do you know why I am saying this? I am not saying this to make you sigh about history. Since the boss did this kind of thing, he has a very suspicious character. He is afraid that the people below him will treat him the same way he treated his boss. Therefore, he supervises us very closely. Why is it that we have risked our lives to follow him for so many years, but our earnings are far less than his? If we continue to work hard for him and accumulate wealth for him, do you know when the end will come? Until the last drop of our blood is squeezed out by him, until we die. Otherwise, we will never be able to get a little bit of shares in his hands. We will never be able to become the management of the company. We will always be working hard for him. These words were what everyone was thinking. No one did not want to be part of the management team. That way, they would not have to risk their lives every day. Just take this mission as an example. In this world of ice and snow, hundreds of days had passed. Every day, they faced a vast expanse of white snow. It was snowing during the day, and it was snowing at night. 400 of days, let alone a woman, they hadn't even seen a sow. Take the captain of the 6th Squad, Moeo, for example. It could be said that he was a guy who could not live without a woman. Just look at how hard this mission had pushed him. The women of the Paka clan were dark and strong. In the end, he did not even care about choosing. As long as it was a woman, it would be fine. It had driven him crazy. And what about the company's management team? Every day, they indulged in wine and women. They spent the money that they worked hard to earn and enjoyed things that they could not enjoy. Brother Bei, we have been working hard. Does the boss not see our efforts? Dong Yong said, Are we really doing the right thing? See it. Liu Bei sneered. When it comes to working hard for the company, who has worked harder than me? I joined the company when I was 17. Now I am 32. It has been 15 years, a whole 15 years. Look at what I have earned. Yes, I did earn some money, but can I spend it? Do I have a chance to spend it? This is how the company is. Once you join, you can forget about quitting and leaving. Unless you become a senior manager, you will always have endless tasks waiting for you. Everyone was silent. Liu Bei had once again said what was on everyone's mind. After every mission, they could indeed earn a lot of money. But they did not have time to spend it at all. They had to start the second mission immediately. Take Wang Tang for example. After the last mission, he had ordered a Ferrari. But he had not even seen the car before he was brought to this world of ice and snow. How many days and nights had passed? Liu Bei sighed. Life is short. We may retire to the second line one day, but at that time, we will definitely be too old to move. At that time, what else can we do with money? We can only wait for death. Ha ha ha, didn't little Shen Yang say that what is the most painful thing in life? People die, but the money is not spent. We are all people without relatives. Don't we work hard to earn money for a free life? But are we living a free life now? Everyone lowered their heads. Among these people, the youngest should be the captain of the 9th team, Wang Tang. Liu Bei patted Wang Tang's shoulder heavily. When you reach my age, you will regret dealing with these damn things when you were young. You have enjoyed too little, too little. Liu Bei was definitely a talented persuader. She knew very well that these 8 people were like him. They had at least tens of millions of yuan in savings, so none of them were poor. Money was not a temptation to them at all, but power was greater. The life they yearned for was praised by Liu Bei. Now, everyone's heart was captured by Liu Bei. If we want to turn over, we can only rely on ourselves. Liu Bei said lightly, "Boss can give us money, but he can't give us a life. If we want a life, we have to fight for it ourselves." Dong Yang took the lead and said, "Brother Bei, we will do whatever you say in the future. We will listen to you." "Yes, Brother Bei, we brothers support you." Ma Ting followed and said, "This time you brought us out, which shows that you think highly of us. You treat us as your brothers, and we also treat you as our brother. If you have any orders, just say it. We will listen to you." Bai Qiandi, Moeo, Ba Tianqi, Wang Tang, Meng Shi, Sun Hao, and the others also stood up to express their loyalty to Liu Bei. No one could see Liu Bei's smile. His smile came from the bottom of his heart. From now on, it was the era of him, an ambitious man. He wanted to turn everything that did not belong to him into his everything. This opportunity was the time to change his fate. Dig. Continue to dig this place. I want to see how thick and how big this jade coffin is. Liu Bei gave the order. These people's conversation basically fell into Su Yun's ears. Su Yun couldn't help but sneer. How ambitious. It seems that their leader is not a simple opponent. He even wants to swallow their own boss. He is definitely a ruthless guy. Lin Gu agreed with Su Yun's words. Those who were ambitious often didn't care about their own family when they did things. When they were faced with interests and their own goals, they would definitely do anything. If they wanted to take away everything here, they would not hesitate to kill everyone here to silence them after it was over. It turned out to be an ancient tomb below. Zhua Meiyan gasped. "Why do I feel like I have entered the world of a novel? Yeming, pinch me. Am I dreaming because I have read too much grave robber's notes?" Zhua Yeming didn't hesitate and pinched her directly. Zhua Meiyan grimaced in pain and whipped at Zhua Yeming. "You really pinched me. Bastard." Now is the time when they are most focused. It is also the best time for us to make a move. Su Yun ordered. Lin Ji's guess is right. They have 9 captains. Now our priority is to get rid of the other minions. Lin Gu, Zhua Yeming, you two are responsible for all the enemies in the northwest. Zhang Wanning, Zhang Yongliang, you two are responsible for all the enemies in the northeast. Wu Yuandong, Wang Zhe, you two are responsible for the enemies in the southwest. Zhua Meiyan, you and I are responsible for the enemies in the southeast. Yuanbua, this is your hometown. You can go and make a scene inside. Yes. Everyone received the order. Chapter 558. Just as everyone was about to take action, they were startled by a buzzing sound. Not far away in the sky, a helicopter slowly flew over. Its searchlight instantly lit up the entire land. Faced with this sudden situation, Su Yun could only quickly ask everyone to hide in the nearest shadow. They did not expect such a huge creature to appear out of nowhere and interrupt their plan. Obviously, the sudden appearance of the helicopter also shocked Liu Bei and the rest. They had no idea who this guy was. This made the atmosphere of the entire place tense. The entire tribe was surrounded by armed adventurers in all 4 directions. The weapons in their hands were all pointed at the helicopter that suddenly appeared. The local Pakal tribesmen had no idea what this huge creature was. Seeing it descend from the sky, they were so scared that they did not dare to get up. They thought that they were the ones who destroyed the Kuei treasure under their homeland and were about to be punished by the gods. However, the helicopter did not seem to mind that these armed adventurers were pointing at it. It still chose to land in the Pakal tribe. It seemed that it came prepared. When the helicopter landed, someone finally recognized that it was the boss's son. "Brother Bei, this is the young master's helicopter." Dong Yang's brows were deeply furrowed. Just when they were determined to hide it from the boss, the young master of the boss suddenly appeared. It was as if he had deliberately jumped out to sing a different tune. Ma Teng was also a lot more nervous in an instant. "Brother Bei, what should we do now? If the young master knows that we have dug out the rare jade, he will definitely tell the boss immediately. By then, everything we think of will become a dream. If the boss knows about the wealth underground, we won't be able to get anything." "Yeah, Brother Bei, what should we do?" Bai Tiandi also clenched his fists tightly. Liu Bei took a deep breath. "Don't worry. As long as I am here, I will find a way to get what we want. No one can stop us from realizing our dreams. Brother Bei, we believe in you." Mo nodded vigorously. Although Mo looked young, he had worked hard for many years. The reason why he could become the captain of the 6th Squad was that he had watched the previous 2 captains of the 6th Squad die in the mission. They were both examples of people who earned money but were not alive to spend it. Ba Tianqi also believed in Liu Bei. "Brother Bei, we'll listen to you. Tell us, what should we say to the young master?" "That's right, Brother Bei. You have to unify our statements. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble if we spill the beans." Wang Tang also stepped forward. Meng Shi didn't say anything, but he knew very well that Liu Bei had made it clear that they were going to rebel. Now that things had come to this, he was afraid that something big was going to happen tonight. "Brother Bei, as long as you say it, the brothers will definitely do it." Sun Hao finally said, "Even if you want us to do this to the young master, he..." As he spoke, Sun Hao made a throat-cutting action with his hand, and none of the other people objected to Sun Hao's intention. It was conceivable how cruel and merciless these people were. In order to achieve their goals, there was no one they didn't dare to kill. As long as it was someone who hindered their footsteps, they must kill. They must kill all of them. In order to achieve their goals, they would do anything. Morality, benevolence, righteousness, and loyalty were all bullshit. After seeing that everyone had expressed their loyalty, Liu Bei smiled and said, "Don't be so serious with the young master, he's just a child. I'll explain to him, you can rest assured." At this time, the helicopter had landed, and the child Liu Bei mentioned also opened the door and walked out. His height of 1.85 meters completely proved that he was an adult, not a child. But the cynical expression on his face showed that he was really a young master who couldn't be provoked. The bodyguard who flew the helicopter also followed closely behind this young master. "Young master, why did you suddenly come here? Why didn't you tell us so that we could pick you up? I really admire you for being able to find such a remote place on your first visit." Liu Bei's gloomy face changed and smiled as she walked towards the boss's only son, Bao Qinghua. Bao Qinghua's face had a triumphant smile. He waved his hand and said, "Brother Bei, don't flatter me. From the helicopter, only your place has light. Do you think wild boars and bears will use generators to light up the place? Haha, of course I knew you were here. Young master is wise." Dong Yang also flattered, "If we were half as smart as Gongzi Yi, we wouldn't have to spend so much time looking for this place. Haha, Gongzi Yi, the next time we have a mission, we really want to bring you along, so that you can show us the way." Bao Qinghua laughed even more wildly and proudly. "Ha ha ha ha, second captain really knows how to joke. If I come with you, it's time to take over my father's job." "Young master, why are you here?" Liu Bei stopped chatting and said to Bao Qinghua, "Ha ha ha, did you know that we found the treasure boss once?" Bao Qinghua frowned. At this time, Liu Bei waved her hand and asked Moeo to show the rare jade mixed with the stone to Bao Qinghua. Moeo hurriedly presented it with both hands. "Young master, look, this is the treasure we just found." "Just found it?" Bao Qinghua frowned and didn't care about the rare jade. Instead, he looked up at Liu Bei and said, "Brother Bei, then you must have called my father as soon as you found it, right? He is still waiting for your good news." "Haha, but I was talking to my father on the phone a minute ago. Why didn't he tell me that you found the rare jade?" Liu Bei's face began to change slightly, but he didn't panic too much. He could achieve today's success not only by his strength, but also by his brain. No wonder when I called the boss just now, the line was always busy. It turned out that young master was talking to the boss. "Ha ha ha, I'll call the boss now." Everyone saw Liu Bei's quick reaction and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Although Bao Qinghua was nothing, he was the boss's only son after all. The boss doted on him very much. If he suspected them, the boss would naturally suspect them too. "Humph, no need." Bao Qinghua said, "I was just saying. I don't have time to call my father." "Brother Bei, aren't you too nervous? Since you said that you called my father, haha, then let me see your mobile phone and your call record." Liu Bei reached into his pocket and took out his mobile phone. At this time, he had used his internal force to burn the interior of the mobile phone. He said lightly, "Young master, my mobile phone just ran out of battery. When I called, there was still battery." However, what Liu Bei didn't expect was that Bao Qinghua didn't take the mobile phone he handed over. Instead, he sneered, "Brother Bei, it's just a lie. You don't have to be so nervous. You didn't call. What does it matter? There is no signal at all in this place. I just said it casually, and you really gave me your mobile phone. Did you really call with your mobile phone just now? Ha 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 ha, you have been here for so many days. Haven't you adapted to the satellite phone yet? Brother Bei, what else do you have to say?" "Young master, we were just excited and forgot to call the boss." Dongyang explained, "We just dug it out and didn't have time to confirm it. If we don't confirm it, we don't dare to tell the boss." Bao Qinghua waved his hand and motioned him not to continue explaining. "Brother Bei, do you really think my dad doesn't know what the real treasure is underground? Do you think you are the only one who knows that this rare jade is just a coffin lid? Do you want me to make everything clear before you are willing to admit your ambition?" As soon as these words came out, everyone was silent. No one knew how Bao Qinghua knew about Liu Bei's ambition. Even Liu Bei himself couldn't believe it. His ambition had always been buried in his heart. He really didn't understand why Bao Qinghua knew what he had just said. Who was it that betrayed him? The 8 captains present. None of them were suspicious. Since his ambition had been exposed, no one dared to continue the following words. At least, Dong Yang and Ma Teng, who were sensible, began to pretend that they didn't know anything. "Young master, don't talk nonsense." Liu Bei said indifferently, "I have been loyal and devoted to the company for 15 years. I believe the boss believes in me. When I worked myself to the bone for the company, young master, you were still a 3-year-old baby. Ha ha ha, how can you doubt me?" Bao Qinghua stared at Liu Bei coldly. "Brother Bei, it seems that you are not going to admit it. Do you want me to make everything clear? Well, let me tell you. All the materials you used here were purchased by me, so each of you has a remote eavesdropping device that I personally put in your bed. Brother Bei, if it weren't for your dream 3 days ago, and your sleep talk betrayed you, I wouldn't be here now." "What? Eavesdropping?" Everyone was scared and broke out in a cold sweat. Could it be that every word they said in the room could be heard? "In your dream, you said that you must rely on the thing under this huge jade coffin to become the new boss of the company." Bao Qinghua's eyes were full of evil and hatred. "Brother Bei, it seems that your ambition is really too big. It is so big that even my father is scared. We really can't believe that you, who have always been obedient, have such ambition. Have you forgotten who gave you the position of the captain of the Viper exploration team? My father thinks so highly of you, but you want to betray him and usurp his position. Speaking of anger, Bao Qinghua stepped forward and slapped Liu Bei hard in the face. Padash. The slap was crisp and loud, but Liu Bei didn't move at all. Bao Qinghua's hand faintly hurt, which made him even angrier. Seeing that Liu Bei didn't move at all, he raised his hand again and slapped Liu Bei hard in the face. He slapped her more than 10 times in a row. Everyone at the scene was dumbfounded by the fight. As he slapped her, he scolded angrily, "Liu Bei, you ungrateful thing. Have you forgotten who gave you food when you had no food to eat? Don't you remember how my father turned you from a homeless dog into a respected captain? What else do you want? Haven't you received enough?" Chapter 559. A series of slaps hit Liu Bei's face. Maybe he finally felt the pain. He suddenly raised his hand and grabbed Bao Qinghua's wrist, which was about to continue. Bao Qinghua's wrist hurt from Liu Bei's grip. He glared and scolded, "Liu Bei, do you know who you've caught? Open your dog eyes and see who I am. How dare you resist me? Let me go. Let me go. Do you hear me? Bastard! Who do you think you are? How dare you not listen to my orders?" The corner of Liu Bei's mouth was slightly raised, and a trace of blood flowed out. Although Bao Qinghua was just an ordinary person, he had used all his strength to slap him, so he still drew blood from the corner of Liu Bei's mouth. Liu Bei didn't resist because he was counting. He counted from 1 to 15. After the 15th slap on his face, Liu Bei would not allow Bao Qinghua to slap him for the 16th time. Because he had been in the company for 15 years and had been helped by the boss for 15 years. These 15 slaps were all returned to him. So he let Bao Qinghua slap him in front of everyone. He had no intention of fighting back or resisting at all. 15 years. I've known the boss for 15 years. The 15 slaps just now, just take it as I return the 15 years to him. Liu Bei said, "Many people say that if the boss hadn't taken me in, I would have died. Why do you think so? Can't I live if I don't do this kind of thing? Yes, the boss made me earn a lot of money. In the past 15 years, I have earned at least 200 million yuan in the company. 200 million yuan. How many people can't earn this money in a lifetime? No, 3 lifetimes, 5 lifetimes, or even 10 lifetimes. But I earned it in 15 years. Liu Bei pinched Bao Qinghua's arm with one hand. Bao Qinghua cried out in pain. He glared at him and said word by word. Although Bao Qinghua cried out in pain, none of the other 8 captains dared to move, because they all knew Liu Bei's strength very well. Liu Bei was a martial arts genius. At the age of 35, he was already a supermaster with extraordinary strength. Everyone knows how much money I have earned, but how many people know how much I have spent? I haven't spent a single cent in the past 15 years. I don't even know what it's like to spend money. I didn't spend any money in 32 years. Before I was 17, I was a beggar. I picked up scraps and ate garbage. I didn't spend any money. After I was 17, I joined the company and started to make huge profits for the company. For my first task, the company gave me $1 million. I wanted to go to KFC to buy 500 renminbi worth of chicken wings, but before I could even leave the company, I was called back and took a car to a further place to carry out my second task. Liu Bei said, "Since then, I have never stopped my footsteps. Until now, it's been 15 years. Every time I go back from a mission, I want to go to KFC to buy 500 yuan worth of chicken wings. I don't want to eat chicken wings, I want to spend money. I want to spend a sum of money in my hands. Do you know the feeling of having money but no time to spend it? I also want to be like you, using money to buy a villa, go to a bar to pick up girls, buy a Porsche, buy a Ferrari, buy a Lamborghini. But I didn't even have time to buy chicken wings. Where would I find the time to buy these things?" No one would have thought that for 15 years, what Liu Bei had been squeezing in his heart was actually these things. Because every mission was in this kind of remote no-man's land, and the missions were always one after another, never stopping. So for 15 years, Liu Bei really didn't have a moment when he didn't work for the company. This was why he had such a big ambition. He wanted more money, and then he would spend it ruthlessly. He didn't buy anything but the company's shares. He hoped that one day, he could just spend money and not do these damn missions. He lived in a world where he spent money every day, but there would always be money to spend. This was the life he, Liu Bei, wanted. Now, the life he wanted was right in front of him. He was about to realize it, but it was ruthlessly torn apart by others. The boss gave him everything, but also ruined everything. His life had become so boring. Even during the years when he was picking up garbage, he could still sleep for a day. But after entering the company, for 15 years, more than 5,000 days and nights, he was either on a mission or on the way to a mission. He was the captain of the Viper expedition team. He shouldered a lot of responsibilities, so he didn't even have time to do his own things. When the housing price in Yanjing was still 2,000 yuan per square meter, Liu Bei didn't have time to buy a house. Now that the price had risen to tens of thousands, he still didn't have time to buy a house. This was Liu Bei's biggest unwillingness, right? My hand is going to be broken. Bao Qinghua was scared. He had never seen such a scary look in Liu Bei's eyes. Brother Bei, let me go. I'll tell my dad that you don't need to go on missions anymore, okay? My hand. The resentment in Liu Bei's heart surged fiercely. He suddenly exerted force, and Bao Qinghua's arm immediately broke in an incredible state. The sharp pain made Bao Qinghua couldn't help but shout to the sky. His heart-wrenching scream made everyone who heard it feel gloomy. Liu Bei finally let go. The moment he let go, he turned around and kicked Bao Qinghua to Dong Yang's side. Before Dong Yang could react, Bao Qinghua had already grabbed him and threatened and begged Dong Yang, "Second captain, help me kill him. I recommend you to be the first captain. In the future, all the glory and wealth will be yours." Dong Yang was no longer interested in these things. After listening to Liu Bei's feelings in the past 15 years, he was also shocked because he had been in the company for 12 years. "Dong Yang, I have always regarded you as my best brother. Today you either help me or help him. Make a choice." Liu Bei said, "I can't go back now. Today, I will say it here. Those who follow me will prosper, and those who oppose me will die. If you want to continue to be the company's machine, I won't stop you. Take your young master and get out. If you want to follow me, break a bone in Bao Qinghua's body." When Liu Bei's voice fell, Bao Qinghua screamed again. His left shoulder had been completely crushed by Dong Yang. This young master, who had done all kinds of evil since he was a child and absolutely no one dared to disobey him, felt the feeling of fear for the first time. It turned out that fear could really make people so terrible. The personal bodyguard he brought with him wanted to make a move just now, but he was controlled by Meng Shi and Sun Hao. Now seeing Bao Qinghua so miserable, the bodyguard angrily scolded, "Liu Bei, the boss will not let you go." Meng Shi and Sun Hao looked at each other, and the two of them worked together to break the man's neck with a click. Bao Qinghua's last life-saving straw was also trampled. After Dong Yang broke Bao Qinghua's left shoulder, he threw him in front of Ma Teng. Ma Teng didn't even blink and directly broke Bao Qinghua's kneecap with a punch. He had long been displeased with this young master who did all kinds of evil. Today, Liu Bei and Dong Yang both rebelled, so there was no need for him to continue to endure. He had long had enough of this kind of day and night task. If this time he could make money that he couldn't spend in a lifetime, he would find a place to hide his identity and live a carefree life. Bao Qinghua never thought that this group of people would torture him like this. Today, he finally knew what the captain of the Viper expedition was. His old man reminded him more than once that this group of people were all evil masters and told him not to offend them. But before, in the company, he insulted these people a lot. He even took pleasure in insulting these people. After all, these people listened to his old man, so he had nothing to be afraid of. But now these people were rebelling against his old man. What was he? Ma Teng passed him on to Bai Qiandi, and Bai Qiandi passed him on to Moeo. After Moeo beat him, he gave him to Ba Tianqi. Ba Tianqi took him and gave him to Wang Tang. Finally, Bao Qinghua, who was baptized in the hands of Meng Shi and Sun Hao, had no good meat on his whole body. All his bones were broken by these people. And when his ribs were broken, they seemed to have pierced into his internal organs, so Bao Qinghua's breathing and speech were much weaker now. He was like a dead dog, thrown heavily into the snow nest. In the end, he was still at death's door, and he was still fantasizing about begging for mercy. Let me go. Bao Qinghua said weakly, Bei Gu, save me. My father's everything. Everything. I can give you. Please save me. I don't want to die. Liu Bei leaned down and patted Bao Qinghua's face gently. Young master, you are too stupid. Do you think your father will really give up everything for you? It's impossible. In order to achieve his goal, he can give up everything. Since you are going to die, then I won't hide it from you. Everything your father has was snatched from your grandfather's hands, including your mother. It was all snatched by your father. Do you understand? Bao Qinghua opened his eyes wide and looked at everything in front of him in disbelief. Young master, if you are dead, ghosts shouldn't find trouble with us. If you want to find trouble, go find your father. It was your father who sent you here to die. Liu Bei sneered, even if you come find me, I am not afraid, because I have been trained by your father to become a ghost. Ha ha ha. After Liu Bei looked up to the sky and laughed, she gave Dong Yang a look. Dong Yang immediately took a gun from one of the people beside him and pointed it at Bao Qinghua's head without hesitation. Young master, I am sorry. Without waiting for Bao Qinghua to beg for mercy again, Dong Yang pulled the trigger. Bang! After a muffled sound, Bao Qinghua's head directly exploded. He lay in the snow with his eyes open, and the snow around him slowly turned red. Until his death, Bao Qinghua couldn't believe that the machines and tools in his father's hands had their own consciousness. He felt that he died unjustly. After getting rid of Bao Qinghua, Dong Yang said to the other captains, Now that things have come to this, we have all expressed our thoughts. We all hope that we can be ourselves for once. Only by following Brother Bei can we have a way out. They were loyal to Brother Bei until death. Everyone expressed their admiration for Liu Bei. We will follow Brother Bei forever. Liu Bei's mouth finally showed a bright smile. After more than 30 years, he finally lived his life. Ha 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 ha. From today onwards, the world belongs to us brothers. We will dig out these treasures, and we will be the richest people in the world. Chapter 560. Attack. Su Yun saw the opportunity and gave another order. He wanted to let Liu Bei and her group of inhumane demons know what it meant by extreme joy begets sorrow. Bao Qinghua's sudden visit just now was completely unexpected. The moment when Bao Qinghua's matter was dealt with should be the moment when the 9 captains' psychological defenses were the most relaxed. Su Yun could not find a better opportunity. This moment was even more relaxed than when they had discovered the rare jade. If they didn't kill him now, when would they? Su Yun wasn't the only one who knew this. The others also knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They were just waiting for Su Yun to give the order. Once they received Su Yun's orders, everyone followed his instructions and headed towards their respective positions. Su Yun's orders were directed towards the Paka tribe's encirclement. Once he gave the order, he and Zhuo Meiyan immediately killed the mercenaries guarding the southeast direction. Their movements were as fast as lightning, and there was no hesitation at all. It was obvious that they were giving it their all. Lin Gu and Zhuo Yeming also attacked the mercenaries coming from the northwest without hesitation. To Zhuo Yeming's surprise, the moment he pulled out the demon-subduing 9-section whip from his waist, the mercenaries fell to the ground with a wave of Lin Ji's hand. Lin Ji's long-range attacks were terrifying. At least Zhuo Yeming was completely convinced. He now completely abandoned the idea of stealing the limelight from Lin Gu. Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang didn't hesitate either. They charged at the mercenaries with murderous intent. Wu Yuandong and Wang Zhe's mission was a little more important because the armed exploration mercenaries' rendezvous point was in the southwest direction. Wang Zhe waved his ghost-face Rakshasa saber and charged in. Wu Yuandong did not hesitate to follow him into the rendezvous point. It could be said that the two of them were killing everything in their way, showing no mercy at all. Those who escaped from the rendezvous point were all dealt with one by Zhua Meiyan. Although the mercenaries of the Viper exploration team were all strong and had excellent survival skills and physiques, in front of experts like Su Yun, they weren't even worth mentioning. For example, when Yuan Bo suddenly charged in, he instantly broke everyone's concentration. Many mercenaries who wanted to stop him were all sent flying with a single slap. It was certain that apart from the captains, the mercenaries of the Viper exploration team were only small fries. They were no match for Yuan Bo. In addition, Yuan Bo's anger had been accumulating for more than a day or two. He crazily vented all his anger on everyone present. At this moment, there was only one word in his mind: kill. For the dead warriors of the Paka clan, for the suffering of his clansmen, he couldn't stop his murderous hands at all. He deeply blamed himself for it. Just as the mercenary was about to execute his tribesman, a piercing sound pierced through the night sky, and the mercenary fell to the ground, dead. The whole process only took a second, and the mercenary didn't even have a chance to make a sound. What a good hidden weapon technique! Liu Bei couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be that a tribal primitive like Yuan Bo could also ask for help from outside? When Liu Bei saw from the corner of his eye that the hidden weapon that killed his subordinate was actually a coin, he couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. To be able to launch a hidden weapon at a place he didn't notice at all, it was obviously very far away. To be able to accurately hit the target from such a long distance was already very strong. And this hidden weapon wasn't something sharp, it was just a small coin. Using a coin from such a long distance to kill someone. This ability wasn't something that just anyone could do. Even the swallow dart of the Yen school probably couldn't compare to this technique. In the past 15 years, Liu Bei's experience could be said to be quite high. He was sure that the other party must be someone from the evil god's sect. Only someone from the evil god's sect would choose to use a coin as a hidden weapon. Could it be the next king of assassins, Xie Fei's, who was favored by everyone? Thinking of this, Liu Bei was even more surprised. "Brother Bei, look!" Dong Yang suddenly exclaimed because two figures appeared in the southeast, northeast, southwest, and northwest of the center of the tribe where they were located. This meant that all their guarding forces had been taken care of. In the entire tribe, only the 9 captains and 10 adventuring mercenaries with firearms and weapons were left. Dong Yang wasn't the only one who was surprised. The other captains also widened their eyes and looked at the sudden appearance of these figures in disbelief. Where did Yuan Bo find these helpers? These people were able to take care of their subordinates without making a sound. They must have the strength of an expert. You guys better be careful. The other party is obviously not coming with good intentions. Liu Bei ordered in a low voice. Everyone, be careful of hidden weapons. The other party has hidden weapons experts in their hands, and their strength is definitely not below ours. If you don't want to die, cheer up. Brother Bei, today I finally know what it means to say that when the heavens are about to give a person a great responsibility, they must first suffer the mind and will, work the muscles and bones, starve the body and skin, cut the body and travel the body, and disturb the behavior. Wang Tang should be the most knowledgeable person among these captains. His words made everyone admire him in their hearts. As the saying goes, good things come with setbacks. It seems that not only the boss doesn't want us to rebel against him, even the outside world will oppress and stop us. It seems that it's really not that easy to achieve great things. Ma Ting nodded and agreed. Wang Tang is right. If we want to achieve great things, we have to pass this hurdle. Today, no matter who it is, as long as they want to take these treasures from our hands, then kill them all. Leave no one alive. Liu Bei was very satisfied with everyone's awareness. Well said. Since they want to snatch from us, then let's see if they have the strength. Yuan Bo snorted coldly. You bunch of demons, do do you think everyone is like you? Let me tell you, they are all my friends. Today, they are here to help me take back everything that we, the Packer clan, have lost. They won't be like you, occupying our homeland. Only beasts would do what you did. Liu Bei spat. Yuan Bo, I think you are still so naive. I can tell you very clearly, as a human, you don't wake up early without benefits. If there is no trend of benefits, you don't really think they will help you, do you? They are not helping you at all. Their goal is probably this underground Hua Xia Kue Bao. Ha ha ha, good, since they want to snatch from me, then let's see if they have the life to do so. Yuan Bo suddenly flipped the flaying wrist knife in his hand and pounced on Liu Bei with a roar. But before he could get close, the captain of the 5th squad, Bai Qiandi, directly raised the long sword in his hand and blocked Yuan Bo's short knife. With a clang, the two blades collided, and sparks flashed in the night sky. Yuan Bo's eyes were full of hatred. For so many days, I have seen clearly how you treat my people. I will make you pay with blood. Bai Qiandi sneered. You want to make a move on our boss? I'm afraid you are still a little inexperienced, aren't you? Do you know what is on those 2 platforms? As long as we give the order, all your people will be shot to death by machine gun bullets. If you want your whole race to be wiped out, then continue to try. As they spoke, Su Yun and the others slowly approached Yuan Bo from a distance. Chapter 561. Finally, Su Yun and the others got closer and closer, and Liu Bei and the others finally saw their faces clearly. Because the Viper exploration team was a team that had never been put on the table, they had never seen each other before. So it was even more impossible to say that they were familiar with each other, but if they reported their names, they might have heard of them. At least they were not nameless people. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Lin Gu smiled faintly. I'm afraid that the trash on duty above you has already fallen asleep, right? You should be more shameless. You're already an adult. No matter what, you're still a dignified captain of the Viper expedition team. How dare you threaten a defenseless person to do evil? To tell you the truth, I despise people like you the most. It's not just me, many people look down on people like you. Count me in, I also despise people like you the most. Zhua Yeming followed and said, This kind of person is a villain, right? No, calling him a villain is already a compliment. This kind of behavior is so despicable. Only a despicable person would do this. He should be called a bitch. Just now he really wronged me. You don't practice sabers, spears, and sticks, but you insist on practicing swords. It seems that you are really a bitch. Coincidentally, among so many people present, only Bai Qiandi used a long sword as a weapon. To be honest, there were not many people who used swords these days. After all, it was not the era where swordsmen were supreme, and few people dreamed of becoming a great swordmaster. This weapon was so ostentatious on the road, as if it was in a period film. These two people's mouths were so sarcastic that Bai Qiandi was about to explode on the spot. Liu Bei reached out to stop Bai Qiandi, indicating that he should not be impulsive. In a confrontation of equal strength, the impulsive party was bound to lose. This was an experience. Calmness could solve many seemingly unsolvable problems, and impulsiveness would only spoil the good things that had already been done. Now was the most critical time for them to exploit this land. Liu Bei absolutely would not allow anyone's impulsiveness to spoil his good things. He believed that interests could change all thoughts. People die for wealth, birds die for food. This was the unchanging law since ancient times, so Liu Bei had the confidence to believe in this law. He did not believe that there was no one who did not come here for money. In his eyes, benefits were always the most important thing. Since the other party already knew that they were members of the Viper exploration team, it meant that the other party was not a fool who came blindly. Liu Bei also understood that knowing oneself and the enemy was the key to victory. The other party knew their identity and still dared to find trouble with them, but he knew nothing about the other party. This was the most unsettling factor for Liu Bei now. Moreover, the subordinates on the high platform had been killed. There was no doubt about this. They no longer had any bargaining chips to threaten the other party. Therefore, the current situation could be said to be quite unfavorable for them. Although the people on both sides did not really fight, and the Viper expedition team only lost some of their underlings, Liu Bei had already silently written 1 o'clock on the scoreboard between the enemy and himself. He was very straightforward about his mistakes. A loss of 1 point was a loss of 1 point. Perhaps it was because it had been too peaceful for a long time, and no one had disturbed their unbridled excavation here, so they had relaxed their vigilance against the outside world. All the seemingly tight defense was just a facade, and did not play any real defensive role at all. Since you know who we are, for the sake of fairness, shouldn't you let us know who you are? Even if you die, you should die knowing. Liu Bei's smile was extremely sinister. Moreover, we, the Viper exploration team, don't kill nameless people. If you don't even have a name, then you don't deserve to confront us. Provocation, a very simple provocation. Su Yun could smile faintly in the face of this provocation, but the Zhang brothers could not be so indifferent. When they heard the other party humiliating them as nameless people, they flew into a rage on the spot. I am the ghost-face Azura. This is my brother, the green-faced beast. Zhang Yongliang cursed angrily. F***CK. Now you know who I am, right? You don't kill nameless people? Humph, I'm too lazy to play with you. If you have the guts, come at me. If I don't kill you, I'll change my surname to yours. Zhang Wanning also stood forward with an expression that said, with just a few of you, our brother Yun doesn't even need to do anything. I can deal with you myself. Su Yun reminded him in a low voice, you too can't underestimate the enemy. Only then did Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang become a little more low-key. Su Yun's reminder was still very useful to these two people. At least it didn't make them rush up like idiots. If that happened, they would be the unlucky ones. Liu Bei's keen observation ability, at a glance, she could see Su Yun's position among the crowd. Her face still had that sinister smile that did not reach her eyes. She said, presumably this is Brother Yun? In the boundless universe, there are quite a lot of people called Brother Yun. May I ask which Brother Yun you are? Lin Gu rubbed his fists and said, my brother's identity is not something you have the qualifications to ask. Humph, let me deal with you. After that, several coins flew out of Lin Ji's hand. The people hiding behind the 9 captains, who were ready to use guns to play dirty tricks, fell to the ground one after another. Liu Bei's face instantly changed. Just now, he had been using tactical sign language to convey orders with his hands behind his back. Even if he had the strength to fight with the other party, he still hoped to use intelligence to solve the battle. Everyone was made of flesh and blood. Even if they were masters, it was impossible to withstand the sweep of a submachine gun. So he originally wanted to use bullets to solve the problem. But he didn't expect that such a weak little movement would be detected by the other party. Moreover, the other party ruthlessly killed all of his subordinates directly. This method was to use coins that were faster than bullets. What qualifications do you have to challenge our brother Bei? Dongyong took a step forward. Boy, your skills are not bad. You are worthy of being the child trained by the evil god. But the child trained by the evil god, I only want to fight with CFAIs. Unfortunately, you are not CFAIs. Lin Gu snorted. You think you are qualified to fight with my Shige? Today, you have to go through me first. Suddenly, the two of them started to fight. Su Yun and Liu Bei didn't stop them, because they knew the people around them. Su Yun knew that Lin Gu was not a reckless person. He did this to show his strength to the other party. It was necessary to first eliminate the minions who would cause trouble at any time. Liu Bei also understood the second captain's intention. He wanted to make a show of strength and give the other party a head-on blow. After all, among the 9 of them, besides him, Dongyang was the strongest. Liu Bei also had the confidence to win when Dongyang declared the battle. However, Dongyang was completely shocked as soon as he made a move. He didn't expect that a boy who looked at least 7 or 8 years younger than him would have such profound skills. He was worthy of being the disciple trained by the evil god. When he made a move, he was not careless at all. Every move was aimed at the fatal part of his body. For a time, because Dong Yang underestimated his opponent, he was forced to retreat in order to protect himself. Lin Ji's move made everyone's morale rise. Zhua Yeming was about the same age as Lin Guo. How could he be willing to let Lin Guo steal the limelight? He shouted angrily and directly whipped Liu Bei's head. But the whip was caught before it reached Liu Bei. Wang Tang, who had a steel trap on his right hand, sneered. "You think you are qualified to fight with our brother Bei?" This was a confrontation between the hot-blooded youths and the frivolous youths. The two fellows, who seemed to be about the same age, clashed fiercely with each other. Zhua Yeming's demon subduing 9-section whip was actually caught by someone. How could he accept this? He immediately withdrew his whip and attacked again without saying a word. From this second, Zhua Yeming no longer had the slightest frivolity, because he clearly felt that the strength of the other party was definitely not weak. Otherwise, it would be impossible to catch his swift whip. After Wang Tang caught this whip, he didn't dare to underestimate the enemy anymore. With such a thick steel trap, he could still feel the severe pain and numbness in his fingers. Obviously, the other party was not an ordinary person. The collision of these two people instantly stirred up the atmosphere of the whole scene. Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang couldn't hold back anymore and jumped out at the same time. They shouted angrily, "Give me your life!" Meng Shi and Sun Hao looked at each other, nodded, and jumped out in front of the two brothers respectively. "I think it's you who will give me your life. You two ugly bastards, take this." The four people didn't show any weakness in the scuffle. Meng Shi and Sun Hao's tacit cooperation was not inferior to the cooperation between the two brothers Zhang Wanning and Zhang Yongliang. This scuffle could be called a classic battle. On one side were brothers, and on the other side were two captains who had cooperated with each other for many years. The two sides were tit for tat. At least at this moment, no one lost to the other. Holding the Rakshasa blade in his hand, Wang Zhe sneered and pointed at Ba Tianqi, who was also using a blade on the opposite side. "Since you all use blades, let me use this Rakshasa blade to test the goods for the guy in your hand. Let's see if it's scrap metal or not." Ba Tianqi was not convinced when he heard this. He scolded angrily, "Then let me use this sky splitter to test your Rakshasa." At this point, the battle had begun. Yuan Bo didn't want to hold back anymore. However, before he made a move, Ma Teng, the captain of the third team, provoked him first. "Yuan Bo, when you first fought with me, you didn't seem to be my opponent. This time, let me see if you have made any progress." Even Wang Zhe made a move. Wu Yuandong couldn't bear the loneliness. He didn't intend to choose an opponent. When he stood out, Bai Qiandi on the opposite side also stood out with him at the same time. Since they were destined to meet, Wu Yuandong didn't hesitate. He directly raised his fist and rushed to Bai Qiandi on the opposite side. Bai Qiandi was shocked. It seemed that his opponent was very strong. At least in terms of speed, he couldn't compete with him. But at this point, he had no choice but to choose an opponent. Besides, he was the captain of the 5th team of the Viper Exploration Team. What kind of situation had he not seen before? Why would he be afraid of such a little danger? The battle between the two was earth-shattering. Both of them used extreme Yang fist skills. Wu Yuandong had suppressed his strength for so many years. Finally, today, he had a chance to break out. The suppression that he had been suppressing for a long time had allowed him to achieve an even more domineering breakthrough. In just one round, Bai Qiandi had clearly fallen into a passive situation. But everyone was busy with the opponent in front of them. No one could see Bai Qiandi's struggle, because no one dared to be distracted. Including the second captain, Dong Yang, no one was not surprised by the opponent's strength. It was completely beyond their imagination. Even Dong Yang, who wanted to make a show of strength, was struggling. Naturally, the others were even more desperate to resist Lin Ji's fierce attacks. Chapter 562. Moeo looked at Zhua Meiyan from head to toe several times. In the end, he was almost mesmerized by Zhua Meiyan. A lecherous man like him had not seen a woman properly for hundreds of days. Now that he saw such a fine specimen, how could he miss it? Beauty, it seems that my only opponent is you. He, but I will definitely be gentle with you. If you choose not to resist, I will be even gentler. Why don't you follow me? I promise you that you will live a good life in the future. Moeo thought to himself. Zhua Meiyan was really speechless. No matter how she looked at him, she did not like him. When he opened his mouth, he made her feel disgusted. She really did not understand why she was left with such a good-for-nothing after everyone had selected their opponents. But now she had no other choice. The remaining two were this lecherous man and their team leader, Liu Bei. Obviously, Su Yun had his eyes on his prey and would not allow Zhua Meiyan to compete with him. Although Su Yun and Liu Bei did not take any action, it did not mean that the battle between them had not started. From the moment they looked at each other, the battle between them had already begun. Invisible battles were the most dangerous. Beauty, I really can't bear to do it. Don't force me. Moeo smiled as he approached Zhua Meiyan. In his eyes, Zhua Meiyan was a piece of fat meat in his mouth. He was really grateful to his group of brothers for giving him such a beautiful task to deal with. Even if this chick was disobedient and fought with him, he could still take some advantage of her, right? Ha ha ha. Zhua Meiyan's face was getting colder and colder. When Moeo was 5 meters away from her, Zhua Meiyan suddenly took a step forward and kicked him hard in the groin. Because Zhua Meiyan's action was so sudden that Moeo was completely unprepared. He was shocked. Fortunately, Moeo's reaction was fast enough to dodge to the back before he was hit. Although he managed to save his manhood from being destroyed, he still broke out in a cold sweat. He really didn't expect this seemingly weak woman could be so powerful. It seemed that anyone who dared to come here had some skills. Moeo sneered, "Little beauty, since you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being rude to you. It's you who refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Don't blame me for being cruel." As soon as he finished speaking, Moeo bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he attacked Zhua Meiyan. All of his attacks were aimed at the woman's vital points. It could be said that his moves were despicable to the extreme. Zhua Meiyan wasn't the kind of woman who could be easily bullied. Even if her opponent was such a shameless person, she didn't back down at all. Instead, she fought back even harder, causing Moeo to fall into a disadvantage to a certain extent. The battle became more and more chaotic. From the initial one-on-one duels, it slowly evolved into a group brawl. Although Su Yun's side had the upper hand in terms of overall strength, the other side's tacit cooperation made the two sides equally matched in the battle. Liu Bei finally couldn't stand it anymore. He admitted that his willpower had lost to the other side. "Brother, if you are really interested in the things here, then we can have a good discussion. Why do you have to fight to the death? Everyone is out here for benefits. As long as you can get benefits, why do you have to risk your life?" Su Yun knew that Liu Bei couldn't sit still anymore. He smiled and said, "Then what do you want? If we continue to fight like this, in the end, both sides will suffer. No matter who wins, it will be impossible to escape Boss Bao's pursuit." Liu Bei said lightly, "Today, you and I are brothers. It is a kind of heaven's will to meet here. The ancients said that no discord, no concord. Now that we have fought, why don't the two of us join hands and take all the treasures here? When the time comes, you and I will divide it equally. No one will lose." Su Yun touched his chin and nodded. "That's a good idea. Unfortunately, I don't want to share with you." Liu Bei frowned. "What do you mean?" "Haha, brother, I have given you enough face." Su Yun didn't come here for any treasures. He just wanted to get justice for Yuan Bo. But since Liu Bei cared so much about these treasures, Su Yun took the opportunity to provoke him and influence his mind. "I came here to take everything here. Why should I share with you? Only the weak would signal to the strong that they want a share of the loot. I have the confidence to win everything, so why would I want to share such a small amount with you? As long as you lose, everything here will be mine, right? Sure enough, Su Yun's words were very effective. Liu Bei felt a burst of madness in his heart. Someone dared to compete with him for the things he wanted. Moreover, he had already shown that he was weak, but the other party didn't know how to appreciate his kindness. He didn't want to leave anything for him and wanted to take everything for himself. This was impossible. Liu Bei would never allow such a thing to happen. Well, then let's see if you have the life to take these treasures away from me, Liu Bei said through gritted teeth. Suddenly, her fist stirred up a gust of wind, and she pounced on Su Yun. Her fist was aimed at Su Yun's face. It was as if 10,000 horses were galloping, and her momentum was like a rainbow. Su Yun's chi sank into his dantian. He held his breath, gathered strength in his fists, and pulled his feet. Without hesitation, he took the punch head-on. He wanted to see how powerful this Viper Exploration Team's first team captain was. The fist and palm collided. The collision of the internal competition made the two of them take 2 steps back. Su Yun was really shocked by Liu Bei's strength. This guy's strength was definitely not weaker than Green Ghost's. He was definitely a rare super master. If it wasn't for the rapid improvement of Su Yun's state of mind recently, and the extreme young child technique in his body that was resisting his internal force was broken by Yumerin, he was afraid that he really wouldn't be Liu Bei's opponent. Liu Bei was also completely stunned by Su Yun. He couldn't believe that the young man in front of him could take his punch with his bare hands. One must know that among the people Liu Bei had seen, those who had such strength were definitely over 30 years old. They were rare existences. Su Yun was only 25 years old. It was hard to believe that he had such strength at such a young age, even if he was a genius. "Who are you?" Liu Bei said in surprise. If Su Yun had such strength that was on par with him, then he must have heard of his name. It was impossible for him to be a nameless person. Su Yun smiled slightly. The strength of the Viper Exploration Team's first team is indeed worthy of its reputation. "Captain Liu, if you want to know who I am, you can. Defeat me and I will naturally tell you." After saying that, Su Yun circulated his chi again. All of his internal force mixed with true chi was poured into his right arm. He suddenly took large strides forward and rushed in front of Liu Bei. His right fist was like a bow as he fiercely pulled it back. Just like how Liu Bei had attacked him earlier, he also threw a punch at Liu Bei. This punch contained more than 95% of Su Yun's strength. It definitely couldn't be underestimated. Liu Bei originally had a chance to dodge, but now that they were evenly matched, since Su Yun had taken his punch, he should also take Su Yun's punch. If Su Yun could take his full-strength attack, he believed that he could also take Su Yun's full-strength attack. Facing the incoming punch, Liu Bei didn't dodge. Instead, he chose to take it. However, when the wind from the punch pressed against his palm, he began to regret it. He regretted that he didn't dodge. What a powerful internal force. This internal force was actually stronger than his full-strength defense. Although Su Yun's punch would backfire, most of the force still hit Liu Bei. Liu Bei couldn't withstand it and quickly retreated a dozen steps. A sweet taste appeared in his mouth as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Su Yun was also forced to take 2 steps back. Although Su Yun was prepared, his right arm was still injured by the backfire. Although both of them were injured, it was obvious that Su Yun had the upper hand. Perhaps it was because of Su Yun's lead that the morale of the crowd soared. Wang Zhe finally found a flaw in Ba Tianqi's defense. With a backhand slash, he directly separated Ba Tianqi's head from his body. The scene was extremely bloody and tragic. Ba Tianqi's decapitation was a serious blow to the morale of the opponents. At least for a moment, many of them had lost their fighting spirit. Before Wang Tang could react, Zhuo Yeming's demon subduing 9-section whip wrapped around his neck. Under Zhuo Yeming's all-out restraint, Wang Tang could only die of suffocation. Losing 2 generals in an instant was not a small blow to Bai Tiandi's confidence. When he fought with Ba Tianqi again, he couldn't figure out his opponent's strength at all. At this time, Wu Yuandong didn't want to continue playing around. He suddenly attacked with all his strength and punched Bai Tiandi's head, completely crippling his opponent's cultivation. Bai Tiandi couldn't bear the result of being crippled. He picked up Ba Tianqi's sky-splitting saber and slashed it at his own neck without hesitation. Ma Teng never thought that Yuan Bo, whom he could easily defeat 1 or 2 years ago, would improve so quickly. After dozens of rounds, he was completely at a disadvantage. Just as he was about to use his hidden weapon, a coin whizzed through the air and broke his wrist. While Ma Teng was in pain and shock, Yuan Bo grabbed his shoulders. Perhaps because he had suppressed his anger for too long, Yuan Bo actually tore Ma Teng's shoulders apart. Then, a punch penetrated Ma Teng's chest, which was protected by internal force. Dong Yang looked at Lin Gur in surprise. He didn't expect this young man to be so powerful. He even had the ability to help Yuan Bo stop Ma Teng from using a hidden weapon while fighting with him. Sure enough, the evil god had a brilliant disciple. Even an unknown disciple like him was so powerful. Just how abnormal was Xie Fei's? At this time, Meng Shi and Sun Hao were also defeated. The whole situation was like a landslide. Zhuo Meiyan also vented all the hatred in her heart. Moeo couldn't win and wanted to escape, but Zhuo Yeming and Wang Zhe held his arms. Zhuo Meiyan stepped forward and began to beat Moeo left and right, giving him a concussion. When Moeo was thrown to the ground, perhaps he had already become a fool. Zhuo Meiyan suddenly stepped forward and stepped on Moeo's family jewels without hesitation. This action was so fierce that it made everyone's balls hurt. Although Dong Yang was strong, 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. After everyone solved the matter at hand, they all began to besiege him. Just Lin Gu alone was already very difficult for him. Being besieged by 8 masters, even if he had the strength of a supermaster, he couldn't escape the fate of a tragic death in the end. Now, of the 9 captains of the Viper expedition, only Liu Bei, who was injured internally by Su Yun, could still stand in front of them. What was done couldn't be undone. Since things had already come to this, Liu Bei also knew very well that he couldn't change anything with his own strength. He coldly looked at these people who destroyed his dream. I tell you, even if I, Liu Bei, become a ghost, I won't let you go. Then you can go and become a ghost. Yuan Bo suddenly made a move, rushed forward, and went straight for Liu Bei's head. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.